Let's start with a question. Have you ever felt like you're sprinting through life, constantly trying to keep up with the demands you've placed on yourself, only to find that you're exhausted before you even reach the finish line? Perhaps you've set goals with the best intentions, getting fit, starting a meditation practice, eating healthier, or working on your career. And somewhere along the way, the sheer effort began to weigh you down. It's a cycle so many of us know too well. We start strong, push ourselves harder, and then burn out before we've achieved the transformation we were after. But here's the truth most of us overlook. Discipline doesn't have to feel like a battlefield. It doesn't have to drain you of joy, energy, or peace. In fact, there's a path to discipline that feels more like a dance, steady, purposeful, and in harmony with the rhythm of your life. You might be thinking, that sounds nice, but how? Well, let's pause here for a moment. Before we dive into principles or techniques, let's explore a story, one that might feel familiar to anyone who's ever struggled to keep moving forward without losing themselves along the way. Ravi had always been an achiever. He thrived on structure and accomplishment, priding himself on his ability to set goals and crush them. After years of hearing about the perfect morning routine from podcasts, books, and productivity gurus, Ravi decided to overhaul his mornings. He wanted to become one of those people who woke up at 5 a.m., ran 5 miles, meditated, read for an hour, and then started the workday feeling invincible. For the first 2 weeks, it worked. Ravi woke up early, laced up his running shoes, and tackled his new routine with enthusiasm. He felt proud, almost smug, as if he had unlocked a secret that most people never figure out. But soon, cracks started to appear. One day he woke up and felt exhausted. He tried to push through, blaming his fatigue on a lack of willpower. But as the days went on, the weight of maintaining the routine began to feel heavier and heavier. He missed a day, then 2, and before long, his perfect routine collapsed entirely. The very habits that were supposed to make him feel powerful left him feeling frustrated and drained. Ravi's inner voice turned critical. "You're lazy. Why can't you just stick with it? Other people make it look easy." And so, Ravi found himself in a familiar place, starting over. Again. This time he promised himself he would try harder, be tougher, and push through the discomfort no matter what. But deep down, Ravi felt stuck in a loop. Every attempt to become the disciplined version of himself ended the same way: burnout. Ravi's story isn't unique. In fact, it's the story of countless people who equate discipline with forcing themselves to endure hardship, ignoring the signals from their body and mind, telling them to pause, breathe, and reassess. What Ravi, and so many of us, missed is that discipline isn't about perfection. It's not about punishing yourself into becoming someone else. Discipline, at its heart, is about alignment. It's about finding balance between effort and ease, between striving and surrendering. This is where wisdom from Buddhism offers a perspective that feels like a deep breath of fresh air. The Buddha taught that the path to lasting change lies not in extremes, but in the middle way, a state of balance where effort is guided by purpose, not by punishment. The middle way doesn't demand that you overwork yourself until you collapse, nor does it allow you to abandon your goals entirely. Instead, it invites you to move forward with intention, mindfulness, and compassion. When Ravi discovered this perspective, everything shifted. He stopped trying to force himself into routines that felt rigid and unnatural. Instead, he started asking himself questions. What do I need right now to feel grounded? How can I approach this goal with kindness instead of criticism. Instead of trying to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day, he allowed himself flexibility. Some mornings he walked instead of running. Other days, he spent extra time meditating or journaling if his mind felt heavy. And for the first time, Ravi began to experience discipline not as a burden, but as a source of energy and clarity. He realized that success didn't mean sticking to an arbitrary set of rules. It meant showing up for himself with patience, persistence, and self-awareness. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle culture mindset, where self-discipline is glorified as the ability to push through no matter the cost. But what if the cost is your well-being? What if the very effort you're making is what's holding you back from lasting growth? The story of Ravi reminds us that discipline isn't just about getting things done. It's about how you get them done. Are you moving forward with a sense of balance, or are you fighting an uphill battle against yourself? Are you being kind to your own limitations, or are you ignoring them in the name of progress? Buddhism offers a gentle but powerful reminder. Discipline is most effective when it's rooted in self-awareness. It's not about suppressing your needs or forcing yourself to achieve unrealistic goals. It's about listening to what your mind, body, and spirit are telling you, and creating a rhythm of effort that feels sustainable. When you start approaching discipline from a place of balance, everything changes. You feel lighter, not because your goals are easier, but because you're no longer carrying the unnecessary weight of guilt, shame, or self-judgment. You become more consistent because you're working with yourself instead of against yourself. And most importantly, you begin to experience a sense of joy in the process. Think about the last time you'd worked on something you genuinely enjoyed. Maybe it was a hobby, a creative project, or a skill you wanted to learn. Chances are the effort didn't feel draining because it was fueled by passion and curiosity. That's the kind of energy sustainable discipline creates. It transforms tasks into opportunities for growth, not obligations to check off a list. As you take your next step, remember this. Discipline is not a race. It's not about how quickly you can achieve a goal or how perfectly you can stick to a routine. It's about cultivating a way of living that supports your growth while honoring your limits. The goal isn't to exhaust yourself. It's to discover a rhythm that feels steady, balanced, and uniquely yours. So the next time you find yourself slipping into the cycle of overworking and burning out, pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this effort coming from a place of alignment, or am I forcing myself to move faster than I need to? You might be surprised at how much clarity that single moment of mindfulness can bring. As we continue, you'll learn practical tools, timeless wisdom, and real-life strategies for cultivating discipline in a way that nurtures both your goals and your well-being. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. And from that presence, you'll discover the strength to create lasting change without losing yourself in the process. Discipline often carries a weight of misunderstanding. For many, it conjures images of relentless effort, rigid schedules, and sacrificing joy for the sake of achievement. It can feel like an uphill battle, where success comes only through struggle, and any slip is seen as failure. But this perception misses something profound. True discipline isn't about extremes or deprivation. It's about balance, a state of harmony that sustains growth without draining your spirit. Buddhism offers a perspective that shifts how we view discipline entirely, showing it as a path of alignment, mindfulness, and compassion. This balance is rooted in an idea that emerged from the Buddha's own life. Before his enlightenment, the Buddha experienced both sides of the spectrum. Raised in luxury, he indulged in every comfort and pleasure, yet found no satisfaction in them. Later, he turned to severe austerity, denying himself even basic needs, but discovered that this too brought only suffering. Neither indulgence nor harsh denial led to peace. It was only when he embraced the middle way, a path free from the extremes, that he found clarity and liberation. This middle way became a cornerstone of his teachings, offering a way of life that rejects both overindulgence and rigid self-denial. Indulgence might seem harmless at first. It often begins with a desire for comfort, a way to escape stress, boredom, or discomfort. Whether it's reaching for an extra slice of cake, binge-watching shows, or scrolling endlessly on social media, indulgence can feel like a harmless reward, but it comes with a cost. Over time, it dulls the mind and creates dependency on fleeting pleasures. The satisfaction it brings is shallow and temporary, leaving a void that demands more. Instead of fulfilling you, indulgence traps you in a cycle of craving, where contentment always seems just out of reach. At the other end of the spectrum lies extreme austerity. This is the path of pushing yourself relentlessly, denying your natural needs, and treating discipline as a test of endurance. On the surface, it might seem noble, a sign of commitment and strength. But austerity carries its own dangers. It creates rigidity, drains emotional energy, and fosters a mindset that equates progress with suffering. When discipline becomes about forcing yourself to comply with impossible standards, it no longer serves as a source of growth. Instead, it becomes a burden, one that often leads to burnout and disillusionment. The middle way provides an alternative. It's not about finding a perfect midpoint between indulgence and austerity, but about cultivating a dynamic sense of balance. Life is constantly changing, and so are you. Balance isn't something you achieve once and hold on to forever. It's something you adjust and recalibrate, moment by moment. This approach allows discipline to be fluid and adaptable rather than rigid and punishing. Awareness is the foundation of this balance. When you become aware of your tendencies, whether toward overindulgence or excessive effort, you gain the power to make conscious choices. Awareness isn't about judgment or criticism. It's about seeing clearly. For instance, if you notice yourself procrastinating, it might be a sign that you're overwhelmed or disconnected from your purpose. If you find yourself pushing through exhaustion, it might be time to reflect on whether your efforts are driven by fear or genuine intention. Awareness helps you pause, reassess, and choose actions that align with your well-being. Flexibility is another essential element of balance. Discipline often fails because it's treated as an all-or-nothing endeavor. If you miss a day at the gym or deviate from your routine, it's easy to feel like you failed entirely. But flexibility allows you to adapt without guilt or shame. It recognizes that life is unpredictable and that discipline must evolve with your circumstances. Some days, rest might be the most disciplined choice you can make. Other days, a small step forward might be all you can manage, and that's enough. Flexibility transforms discipline from a rigid structure into a supportive framework. Patience is equally vital. In a culture that glorifies quick results, it's tempting to rush toward outcomes or expect instant transformation. But real growth unfolds slowly. The middle way teaches you to trust the process, focusing on steady, sustainable progress rather than immediate gratification. Patience allows you to move forward without the pressure of urgency, creating space for resilience and consistency. Compassion underpins this entire approach. It's easy to be hard on yourself when you fall short or struggle to maintain discipline. Self-criticism often masquerades as motivation, but it does more harm than good. Compassion, on the other hand, softens the edges of discipline. It reminds you that mistakes and setbacks are part of the journey, not signs of failure. When you approach yourself with kindness, you create an environment where discipline can thrive. Compassion isn't indulgence. It's the recognition that growth requires care as much as effort. To walk the middle way, it's also important to redefine success. Success isn't about achieving perfection or ticking off every item on your to-do list. It's about aligning your efforts with what truly matters to you. When success is measured by connection to purpose rather than external results, discipline becomes meaningful. You stop striving for arbitrary goals and start focusing on actions that bring fulfillment. This shift allows you to celebrate progress rather than dwell on what's left undone. Mindfulness is the thread that ties everything together. It's the practice of staying present, noticing your thoughts, feelings and actions without judgment. Mindfulness helps you recognize when you're veering into extremes and gently guides you back to balance. If you're tempted to skip a task because it feels overwhelming, mindfulness helps you discern whether you need rest or simply a shift in perspective. If you're pushing too hard, mindfulness reminds you to pause and breathe. It creates space for intentional choices, making discipline a practice of awareness rather than force. Simplicity is another gift of the middle way. Complexity often leads to overwhelm, and overwhelm pulls you away from balance. Simplifying your approach to discipline, whether by focusing on one meaningful goal at a time or letting go of unnecessary distractions, creates clarity. Simplicity isn't about doing less for the sake of it. It's about prioritizing what truly aligns with your values. When your efforts are focused and intentional, discipline becomes lighter and more effective. The beauty of the middle way is that it transforms discipline from a struggle into a practice of harmony. It allows you to pursue your goals without sacrificing your well-being. It creates space for joy and ease, even in the midst of effort. This isn't just a framework for achieving success. It's a way of living that brings you closer to peace, fulfillment, and freedom. As you walk this path, remember that balance is a practice, not a destination. It's a commitment to showing up for yourself with patience, mindfulness, and compassion, even when the journey feels uncertain. The middle way offers a gentle yet powerful approach to discipline, one that nurtures growth without depleting your spirit. And in that balance, you'll find not only the strength to move forward, but the wisdom to enjoy the process every step of the way. Discipline grounded in balance unlocks a sense of clarity and steadiness, but its true strength is revealed when paired with mindfulness. While balance offers the foundation for sustainable effort, mindfulness transforms how you engage with every step of your journey. It's the difference between moving through life on autopilot and showing up fully present for each moment. The practice of mindful self-discipline doesn't just keep you focused. It helps you preserve energy, deepen your connection to purpose, and prevent exhaustion before it takes hold. Mindfulness in self-discipline is about paying close attention to your actions, thoughts, and intentions. It's about noticing not only what you do, but also why you do it and how you feel as you're doing it. Without mindfulness, discipline can easily turn into a mechanical process, driven by habit rather than awareness. When this happens, even the most well-intentioned efforts can become draining. Mindfulness changes this by inviting you to approach discipline with curiosity, intention, and care. It's not just about what you accomplish, it's about how you engage with the process. One of the most powerful ways mindfulness enhances self-discipline is by creating a sense of clarity. When you're mindful, you become attuned to what truly matters. It's easy to lose focus in a world filled with distractions, but mindfulness brings you back to the present moment. It helps you see where your energy is being directed and whether that aligns with your goals. For example, if you find yourself spending hours on tasks that feel urgent but aren't meaningful, mindfulness allows you to pause, reflect, and redirect your efforts. This clarity prevents you from wasting energy on activities that don't serve your higher purpose. Mindfulness also strengthens your ability to stay present with challenging tasks. Often, the hardest part of discipline is simply starting. The mind has a tendency to resist discomfort, convincing you that a task is too difficult, too boring, or not worth the effort. Mindfulness helps you recognize these thoughts for what they are, temporary reactions rather than truths. Instead of getting caught up in avoidance or procrastination, you can acknowledge the resistance and take the first step anyway. By bringing your attention fully to the present moment, mindfulness allows you to break down even the most daunting tasks into manageable steps, making progress feel achievable rather than overwhelming. Another key benefit of mindful self-discipline is its ability to prevent burnout. When you're not mindful, it's easy to push yourself too hard, ignoring the signs that your body or mind need rest. This often leads to exhaustion, frustration, and a sense of disconnection from your goals. Mindfulness helps you tune into these signals early, allowing you to adjust your approach before burnout sets in. For example, if you notice that your focus is slipping or your energy is low, mindfulness gives you the space to pause, breathe, and recharge. This doesn't mean abandoning your efforts. It means approaching them with greater wisdom and care. Mindfulness also brings a sense of intention to your actions. Instead of going through the motions, you become deeply aware of why you're doing what you're doing. This connection to intention makes discipline feel more meaningful and rewarding. For instance, if your goal is to develop a daily meditation practice, mindfulness helps you stay connected to the purpose behind that goal. You're not just meditating because it's something you should do. You're meditating because it aligns with your desire for greater peace, clarity, and well-being. This sense of intention transforms discipline from a chore into a practice of self-care. One of the most practical ways to incorporate mindfulness into self-discipline is through the practice of pausing. A pause is a moment of intentional stillness, where you step back from your actions and reflect on what you're doing and why. This can be as simple as taking a deep breath before starting a task or checking in with yourself midway through a project. Pausing allows you to reset your focus, assess your energy, and ensure that your efforts are aligned with your values. It also creates space for gratitude, helping you appreciate the progress you've made rather than fixating on what's left to do. Mindfulness also invites you to approach discipline with kindness rather than harshness. Many people view discipline as a form of self-control, where success depends on how well you can force yourself to stick to a plan. But this approach often leads to guilt and self-criticism when you fall short. Mindful self-discipline takes a different path. It encourages you to be gentle with yourself, recognizing that growth is a process and that setbacks are natural. Instead of punishing yourself for mistakes, you can use them as opportunities to learn and adjust. This kindness doesn't weaken discipline. It makes it more resilient by creating a supportive environment for growth. A critical aspect of mindful self-discipline is learning to focus on the present moment rather than becoming overly fixated on future outcomes. It's natural to have goals, but when your attention is constantly pulled towards the end result, you miss the richness of the journey. Mindfulness helps you stay grounded in the here and now, allowing you to fully engage with each step of the process. This presence not only enhances your performance, but also brings a sense of fulfillment to your efforts. You begin to see each action as valuable in its own right, rather than as merely a means to an end. Mindfulness also helps you navigate the emotional ups and downs that often accompany discipline. There will be days when motivation comes easily, and others when it feels like an uphill battle. Without mindfulness, these fluctuations can be frustrating and discouraging. But with mindfulness, you can approach them with curiosity and acceptance. If you're feeling unmotivated, instead of judging yourself, you can explore what's behind that feeling. Maybe you're tired, or maybe you've lost sight of why the goal matters to you. Mindfulness helps you address these challenges with compassion, allowing you to find solutions rather than getting stuck in self-doubt. Another way mindfulness supports self-discipline is by helping you cultivate a sense of gratitude. Discipline often focuses on what needs to be done, but mindfulness reminds you to appreciate what you've already accomplished. This shift in perspective can be incredibly motivating. When you take a moment to acknowledge your progress, no matter how small, it fuels your determination to keep going. Gratitude also keeps you connected to the positive impact of your efforts, making the process feel more rewarding and less burdensome. Mindfulness encourages you to simplify your approach to discipline. Complexity can be overwhelming, leading to confusion and frustration. By staying mindful, you can identify what truly matters and let go of unnecessary distractions. This doesn't mean taking shortcuts or avoiding effort. It means focusing your energy on what aligns with your values and goals. When your efforts are intentional and streamlined, discipline feels lighter and more manageable. A mindful approach to discipline also strengthens your relationship with yourself. It fosters self-awareness, helping you understand your strengths, weaknesses, and tendencies. This understanding allows you to tailor your approach to discipline in a way that works for you. For example, if you know that you're more productive in the morning, mindfulness helps you prioritize your most important tasks during that time. If you tend to lose focus in the afternoon, mindfulness encourages you to build in breaks or shift to less demanding activities. This personalization makes discipline more effective and sustainable. Mindfulness also helps you embrace impermanence, the understanding that everything, including your challenges, is temporary. When faced with difficulties, it's easy to feel stuck or overwhelmed. But mindfulness reminds you that no struggle lasts forever. This perspective brings a sense of calm and resilience, allowing you to navigate challenges with greater ease. It also encourages you to celebrate progress, knowing that even small steps contribute to meaningful change. Ultimately, mindful self-discipline is about creating a sense of harmony between effort and ease. It's not about forcing yourself to meet expectations or sacrificing your well-being for the sake of achievement. It's about showing up with intention, awareness, and care, trusting that each mindful step brings you closer to your goals. When discipline is rooted in mindfulness, it becomes a practice of alignment and self-respect, one that enhances your life rather than depleting it. And in that alignment, you'll find the focus, energy, and resilience to keep moving forward. The practice of mindfulness enriches discipline by anchoring your focus in the present and creating a sense of ease and clarity in every action. However, what truly sustains this practice over time is the power of intention. Intention isn't just a fleeting thought or a wish. It is the driving force that connects your actions to a deeper purpose. When intention becomes the foundation of discipline, every effort gains meaning, and every challenge feels worth enduring. Without intention, even the most well-structured plans lose their vitality. With it, discipline transforms from a burden into an act of self-alignment. Intention begins with clarity. To act with intention, you must first know what matters most to you. This requires stepping back and reflecting on your values, goals, and desires. Many people approach discipline with vague ambitions like, "I want to be successful," or "I want to be healthier." These are admirable goals, but without a clear understanding of why they matter, it's easy to lose motivation. Intention sharpens this focus by asking deeper questions. What does success mean to you personally? Why is health important in your life? What kind of person do you want to become through this process? Answering these questions helps you anchor your actions in something meaningful. Setting an intention is not the same as setting a goal. Goals are about outcomes, reaching a milestone or achieving a result. Intention, on the other hand, is about the energy and mindset you bring to the journey. For example, if your goal is to exercise regularly, your intention might be to care for your body with kindness and respect. This shift in perspective changes everything. Goals can feel rigid, and missing them can lead to frustration or self-doubt. But when your actions are guided by intention, even small steps feel significant because they reflect your deeper purpose. Intention also creates a sense of connection between your daily actions and your long-term vision. It's easy to view discipline as a series of isolated tasks, each demanding effort and focus. But intention weaves these tasks into a larger narrative. When you set an intention, you remind yourself that every choice, no matter how small, contributes to a bigger picture. For example, waking up early to meditate isn't just about ticking a box on your to-do list. It's an act of aligning with your desire for greater peace and clarity. This sense of connection makes even mundane tasks feel purposeful and fulfilling. Another powerful aspect of intention is its ability to guide you through challenges. Discipline often involves discomfort, stepping outside your comfort zone, facing resistance, or persisting through setbacks. Without intention, these challenges can feel overwhelming or discouraging. But when you're rooted in intention, you have a source of strength to draw from. Intention acts as a compass, reminding you why you started and what you're working toward. It transforms challenges from obstacles into opportunities to deepen your commitment to your purpose. Intention also cultivates resilience. Life is unpredictable, and there will be times when things don't go as planned. You might miss a workout, fall behind on a project, or struggle to stay motivated. In these moments, intention helps you stay grounded. It reminds you that discipline is not about perfection, but about showing up with authenticity and effort. Instead of judging yourself for what didn't go right, you can return to your intention and refocus your energy. This resilience allows you to navigate setbacks without losing sight of your purpose. Clarity of intention also brings freedom. Many people approach discipline with a sense of pressure or obligation, feeling like they have to do certain things to meet expectations, whether their own or others. But intention shifts this mindset from obligation to choice. When your actions are guided by intention, you're not doing something because you feel forced to. You're doing it because it aligns with your values and desires. This sense of choice creates a feeling of empowerment, making discipline a source of joy rather than stress. Another key benefit of intention is its ability to create alignment between your inner world and your outer actions. Often people experience a disconnect between what they say they want and how they behave. For example, someone might say they value health, but then prioritize work over self-care. Intention bridges this gap by helping you align your actions with your values. It encourages you to act in a way that reflects your true priorities, creating harmony between your thoughts, words, and deeds. The practice of setting intention also strengthens your self-awareness. When you take the time to reflect on what matters to you, you deepen your understanding of yourself. This self-awareness allows you to make choices that are not only effective, but also authentic. For example, if your intention is to cultivate patience, you might notice moments when you feel rushed or frustrated and use those moments as opportunities to practice slowing down. This awareness helps you grow in ways that are aligned with who you truly are. Intention also fosters a sense of gratitude. When you act with intention, you become more mindful of the opportunities and resources that support your journey. Instead of taking your efforts for granted, you begin to appreciate the small but meaningful steps that bring you closer to your goals. Gratitude also strengthens your connection to your purpose, reminding you of the value and significance of what you're working toward. This gratitude fuels your motivation and keeps you engaged, even when the path feels challenging. Another important aspect of intention is its ability to simplify your approach to discipline. Without intention, it's easy to get caught up in doing too much, taking on too many goals, overloading your schedule, or chasing achievements that don't truly matter to you. Intention helps you focus on what's essential. It encourages you to let go of distractions and commit to actions that are aligned with your values. This simplicity not only makes discipline more manageable, but also enhances its effectiveness. Intention also brings a sense of presence to your actions. When you act with intention, you're fully engaged in the moment. You're not just completing a task, you're experiencing it. This presence makes your efforts more meaningful and allows you to savor the process. For example, cooking a healthy meal with intention isn't just about preparing food. It's about nourishing your body and honoring your commitment to self-care. This presence transforms even ordinary actions into moments of connection and fulfillment. The power of intention lies in its ability to create a sense of flow in your discipline. Instead of feeling like you're constantly pushing against resistance, you begin to feel like you're moving with purpose. Intention helps you navigate challenges with grace, stay connected to your values, and find joy in the journey. It's not just about what you achieve, it's about how you grow and who you become along the way. By aligning your actions with intention, you unlock a deeper sense of meaning and motivation. Discipline becomes less about forcing yourself to meet expectations and more about honoring your purpose. This shift creates a sustainable approach to growth, one that nurtures your well-being while empowering you to pursue your goals. Intention transforms discipline from a task into a practice, and in that practice, you discover the true essence of lasting change. When intention guides your actions, discipline gains purpose and clarity. But even with clear intentions, many people find themselves entangled in an exhausting chase for results. The pressure to achieve specific outcomes, coupled with the weight of perfectionism, often creates more stress than progress. Letting go of this attachment to outcomes isn't about giving up. It's about freeing yourself from the mental chains that make discipline feel like a never-ending struggle. By releasing the need for control over results, you open the door to a more peaceful, fulfilling relationship with effort itself. Non-attachment doesn't mean apathy or lack of ambition. It's about embracing the idea that your worth isn't tied to what you achieve, but to the effort and intention you bring to the process. When your focus shifts from outcomes to actions, you begin to experience discipline as an ongoing practice rather than a destination. This shift brings a sense of lightness, as it removes the constant pressure to measure your success against external benchmarks. Letting go of attachment to outcomes starts with recognizing how tightly they hold you. The drive to achieve often stems from a desire for validation, whether from others or yourself. You might set a goal to excel at work, improve your health, or cultivate a new skill, believing that reaching these milestones will bring happiness or approval. But when results become the sole focus, the joy of the journey is lost. Each setback feels like a failure, and every delay becomes a source of frustration. Non-attachment helps you break free from this cycle by reminding you that growth happens in the process, not just the result. One of the most liberating aspects of non-attachment is its ability to reduce self-imposed pressure. When you let go of the need for perfection, you allow yourself to move forward without fear of falling short. This doesn't mean lowering your standards. It means recognizing that perfection is an illusion. No matter how carefully you plan or how hard you work, life will always have variables beyond your control. Accepting this reality doesn't diminish your efforts. It enhances them by grounding them in the present moment. Non-attachment also cultivates resilience. When you're not fixated on achieving a specific outcome, setbacks lose their power to derail you. Instead of seeing challenges as failures, you begin to view them as opportunities to learn and grow. This mindset shift fosters a sense of adaptability, allowing you to adjust your approach without feeling defeated. For example, if you're working toward a fitness goal and miss a workout, non-attachment helps you refocus on the next opportunity rather than dwelling on the missed session. It's not about ignoring your goals, but about approaching them with patience and perspective. Another benefit of releasing attachment to outcomes is the ability to stay connected to your values. When you're overly focused on results, it's easy to lose sight of why you started in the first place. Non-attachment brings you back to your core intentions, ensuring that your actions remain aligned with what truly matters. For instance, if your goal is to write a book, non-attachment allows you to focus on the joy of writing rather than the pressure of publishing. This connection to purpose keeps your efforts meaningful and prevents burnout. Letting go of outcomes also enhances your ability to be present. When your mind is constantly fixated on the future, what you want to achieve, how you'll get there, and what might go wrong, it becomes difficult to fully engage with the present moment. Non-attachment helps quiet this mental noise, allowing you to immerse yourself in the task at hand. This presence not only improves your performance, but also makes the process more enjoyable. Whether you're learning a new skill, working on a project, or pursuing personal growth, being present transforms effort into a source of satisfaction. Non-attachment doesn't mean avoiding goals or aspirations. It means holding them lightly rather than grasping tightly. This approach creates a sense of balance, where your efforts are guided by purpose, but not weighed down by unrealistic expectations. It allows you to pursue excellence without being consumed by the fear of failure. For example, if you're preparing for an important presentation, non-attachment encourages you to focus on doing your best rather than obsessing over the outcome. This mindset not only reduces stress, but also boosts confidence, as you're no longer driven by the need for perfection. One of the most transformative aspects of non-attachment is the freedom it brings to explore and experiment. When you're not tied to specific results, you can approach challenges with curiosity rather than fear. This openness creates room for creativity and innovation, as you're no longer limited by rigid expectations. For instance, if you're working on a creative project, non-attachment allows you to try new ideas without worrying about whether they'll succeed. This sense of freedom makes discipline more dynamic and enjoyable, as it becomes a process of discovery rather than a test of endurance. Non-attachment also fosters a deeper sense of self-compassion. When you're not judging yourself based on outcomes, it becomes easier to treat yourself with kindness and understanding. This compassion creates a supportive inner environment where mistakes are seen as part of the learning process rather than as reflections of your worth. For example, if you're learning a new language and struggle with pronunciation, non-attachment helps you approach the challenge with patience and humor instead of frustration. This self-compassion not only sustains your efforts, but also strengthens your resilience. Releasing attachment to outcomes also has a profound impact on your relationships. When you're not fixated on controlling how others perceive you or react to your actions, interactions become more genuine and fulfilling. Non-attachment allows you to approach relationships with openness and authenticity, as you're no longer driven by the need for approval or validation. This creates space for deeper connections, as you're able to focus on the quality of the relationship rather than on meeting specific expectations. Another powerful aspect of non-attachment is its ability to cultivate gratitude. When you're not constantly striving for more, you become more aware of the value of what you already have. Non-attachment shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present, fostering a sense of contentment and appreciation. This gratitude not only enhances your sense of well-being, but also motivates you to continue growing. It reminds you that discipline isn't just about achieving goals, it's about honoring the journey and the growth it brings. Non-attachment also encourages you to embrace impermanence. Life is constantly changing, and clinging to specific outcomes can create unnecessary suffering. Non-attachment helps you navigate these changes with grace, as it allows you to adapt to new circumstances without losing your sense of purpose. For example, if a project you're passionate about takes an unexpected turn, non-attachment helps you stay flexible and focused on what you can control. This perspective brings a sense of calm and stability, even in the face of uncertainty. Ultimately, non-attachment transforms discipline into a practice of freedom. It frees you from the mental weight of perfectionism, the stress of unrealistic expectations, and the fear of failure. It allows you to engage fully with your efforts, knowing that their value lies not in the outcome, but in the growth and learning they bring. This freedom creates a sense of joy and fulfillment, as you're no longer burdened by the need to prove yourself. By letting go of attachment to outcomes, you discover that discipline isn't about achieving more. It's about becoming more. And in that becoming, you find a deeper sense of peace, purpose, and possibility. Releasing attachment to outcomes brings freedom and lightness to discipline, but there's another element that transforms how you approach the journey: compassion. For many, discipline has been framed as something harsh, rigid, and unforgiving, a tool for forcing oneself to stay on track. Yet, when compassion becomes the foundation of discipline, it shifts from being a struggle to being an act of self-respect. Compassion isn't about letting yourself off the hook. It's about creating a space where growth feels natural, sustainable, and empowering. Compassion starts with the way you speak to yourself. Often the inner voice that drives discipline can be harsh, critical, or even cruel. It might tell you that you're not doing enough, or that you'll never succeed unless you push harder. This voice thrives on fear and shame, but rather than motivating you, it drains your energy and erodes your confidence. Compassion replaces that voice with one that is understanding and supportive. It reminds you that mistakes are not failures but opportunities to learn, that progress is rarely linear, and that you're worthy of kindness even when you fall short. Self-kindness strengthens discipline because it nurtures resilience. When you approach challenges with compassion, you're less likely to give up at the first sign of difficulty. Instead of seeing setbacks as proof that you're incapable, you begin to see them as part of the process. Compassion allows you to recover quickly from mistakes because it keeps your focus on growth rather than judgment. For example, if you miss a workout or make an unhealthy choice, self-compassion helps you reflect on what happened without spiraling into guilt. This reflection creates space for adjustment and keeps you moving forward. Compassion also reduces the pressure to be perfect. Many people hold themselves to impossibly high standards, believing that anything less than perfection is failure. This mindset creates an environment of constant stress, where every slip feels catastrophic. Compassion offers a more realistic perspective. It acknowledges your humanity, your limitations, and the fact that no one gets everything right all the time. This understanding doesn't mean settling for mediocrity. It means accepting that effort and intention matter more than flawless execution. When you free yourself from the need to be perfect, discipline becomes a source of encouragement rather than a source of fear. Another important aspect of compassion is its role in maintaining motivation. Harsh discipline often relies on fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. While fear can create short bursts of effort, it's not a sustainable motivator. Over time, it leads to exhaustion, resentment, and avoidance. Compassion, on the other hand, motivates through care and connection. When you approach discipline with kindness, you're not forcing yourself to act out of fear. You're choosing to act because you value yourself and your goals. This motivation is deeper, more enduring, and far more rewarding. Compassion also fosters a sense of balance in discipline. Without compassion, it's easy to push yourself too hard, ignoring the signs that your body and mind need rest. This overexertion often leads to burnout, making it difficult to stay consistent. Compassion helps you recognize when it's time to pause and recharge. It encourages you to listen to your needs and honor them without guilt. For example, if you're working toward a goal and feel overwhelmed, compassion might prompt you to take a day off or adjust your approach. This balance ensures that your efforts are sustainable, allowing you to maintain discipline over the long term. The practice of compassion also enhances your relationship with discipline by shifting your focus from outcomes to the process itself. When you're compassionate with yourself, you're less likely to judge your progress based on external results. Instead, you begin to value the effort and intention you bring to each step. This perspective transforms discipline into a practice of self-care. It's no longer about proving something to yourself or others. It's about honoring your own growth and well-being. Compassion also creates an environment where you can take risks and embrace challenges without fear. Discipline often involves stepping outside your comfort zone, which can be intimidating. Without compassion, the fear of failure can hold you back, making it difficult to push beyond your limits. But when you approach challenges with kindness, you create a safety net for yourself. You know that even if you stumble, you'll treat yourself with understanding rather than criticism. This safety allows you to take bold steps and explore new possibilities with confidence. Another way compassion supports discipline is by helping you stay present. Harsh discipline often pulls your focus into the future, fixating on what you need to achieve or avoid. This forward focus can create anxiety and make the process feel overwhelming. Compassion brings you back to the present moment, encouraging you to take things one step at a time. It reminds you that the only moment you can truly act on is now. By staying present, you reduce stress and make your efforts more focused and effective. Compassion also strengthens your connection to your purpose. When you're compassionate with yourself, you're more likely to stay aligned with your values and intentions. This alignment makes discipline feel meaningful rather than mechanical. For example, if your goal is to build a meditation practice, compassion helps you approach each session with curiosity and care. You're not meditating to check a box or meet an expectation. You're meditating because it supports your well-being and growth. This sense of purpose makes it easier to stay committed, even when the journey feels challenging. Another powerful aspect of compassion is its ability to build trust in yourself. Harsh discipline often undermines this trust by creating a cycle of self-doubt and criticism. When you approach discipline with compassion, you begin to see yourself as an ally rather than an adversary. This trust fosters a sense of self-reliance and confidence, allowing you to approach your goals with greater ease. You're no longer battling yourself, you're working with yourself, creating a foundation of mutual respect and support. Compassion also extends beyond self-discipline to your interactions with others. When you practice self-kindness, it becomes easier to show kindness to those around you. This creates a ripple effect, as your compassionate approach inspires and uplifts others. For example, if you're leading a team or supporting a friend, your compassionate perspective can encourage them to approach their own challenges with patience and care. This interconnectedness enhances not only your personal growth, but also your relationships and community. Compassion transforms discipline into a practice of self-acceptance. Many people approach discipline as a way to fix themselves, believing that they need to change in order to be worthy or successful. Compassion challenges this belief by reminding you that you're already enough, just as you are. Discipline doesn't become a tool for self-improvement because you're broken. It becomes a way to honor and nurture the potential that already exists within you. This shift creates a sense of peace and fulfillment, as you're no longer striving to become someone else. Instead, you're embracing and expanding the person you already are. When compassion is at the heart of discipline, it changes everything. It allows you to approach challenges with confidence, setbacks with grace, and success with humility. It nurtures resilience, sustains motivation, and creates a sense of balance that keeps you moving forward. Most importantly, it reminds you that discipline isn't about forcing yourself to meet expectations. It's about treating yourself with the care and respect you deserve. And in that care, you'll find the strength to grow, thrive, and achieve in ways that truly honor who you are. Compassion transforms discipline by grounding it in kindness and understanding, creating a foundation that sustains motivation and resilience. Yet even with self-kindness, the journey of discipline demands one more crucial ingredient: patience. In a world that glorifies speed and immediate results, patience feels like an overlooked virtue. But the teachings of Buddhism reveal patience as a powerful tool, not just for enduring challenges, but for embracing the natural rhythm of progress. It is through patience that discipline becomes steady, adaptable, and deeply rooted in balance. Patience begins with recognizing the nature of time and growth. Modern life often pushes us to rush, achieve, and see results as quickly as possible, but meaningful change rarely follows a straight, predictable path. Just as a tree doesn't sprout and bear fruit overnight, personal growth unfolds at its own pace. When you practice patience, you step away from the constant pressure to hurry and instead allow progress to flow naturally. This doesn't mean passivity or inaction. It means trusting the process and showing up consistently, even when the results aren't immediately visible. One of the first lessons of patience is understanding that progress is not always linear. There will be days when your efforts feel effortless, and others when even the smallest task seems daunting. This ebb and flow are part of any journey. Patience helps you navigate these fluctuations with grace, accepting that setbacks and slow periods don't define the outcome. For example, if you're building a new habit like exercising regularly, patience reminds you that missing a workout or having a low-energy day doesn't erase the progress you've made. Instead of giving in to frustration, you refocus on the next step, knowing that growth is cumulative. Patience also teaches you to embrace the present moment. Often, impatience arises from an intense focus on the future, on what you want to achieve and how quickly you want to get there. This forward-thinking mindset creates stress and dissatisfaction, as it shifts your attention away from the value of what you're doing right now. Buddhist teachings encourage a return to the present, where each action is an opportunity for mindful engagement. By being fully present, you deepen your connection to the process, making each step of the journey meaningful in itself. Another key aspect of patience is its ability to reduce resistance. Impatience often stems from a desire to control outcomes and force progress, leading to unnecessary tension. When things don't go as planned, resistance builds, creating frustration and self-doubt. Patience, on the other hand, allows you to release this resistance and accept what is. This doesn't mean giving up. It means working with the situation as it unfolds, rather than against it. For instance, if you're learning a new skill and face unexpected challenges, patience helps you see those challenges as part of the learning process, rather than obstacles to overcome. Patience also fosters resilience by strengthening your ability to persevere. Discipline often requires sustained effort over time, and without patience, it's easy to become disheartened or burned out. Patience provides the mental space to keep going, even when progress feels slow or uncertain. It shifts your focus from immediate results to the larger picture, reminding you that meaningful change takes time. This resilience helps you stay committed to your goals, no matter how long the journey takes. One of the most profound lessons of patience is the idea that growth happens in its own time. Just as a seed germinates and grows at its own pace, personal transformation cannot be rushed. Impatience often comes from comparing yourself to others or holding yourself to unrealistic timelines. Patience helps you let go of these comparisons and honor your unique path. It allows you to trust that you are exactly where you need to be, even if it doesn't match your expectations. This trust creates a sense of inner peace, freeing you from the constant pressure to achieve. Patience also cultivates humility. When you're impatient, there's often an underlying assumption that you should be able to control every aspect of your progress. But the truth is, many factors are beyond your control. Patience helps you acknowledge this reality, fostering a sense of humility and acceptance. This humility doesn't diminish your efforts. It enhances them by aligning your actions with the natural flow of life. For example, if you're working on a creative project and encounter delays, patience allows you to adapt and grow with the process rather than fighting against it. Another important aspect of patience is its role in reducing stress. Impatience creates a constant sense of urgency, where every delay feels like a setback, and every challenge feels like a failure. This mindset is exhausting, both mentally and emotionally. Patience, however, brings a sense of calm and perspective. It reminds you that progress isn't a race, and that every step, no matter how small, contributes to your growth. This perspective reduces the pressure you place on yourself, allowing you to approach discipline with greater ease and enjoyment. Patience also enhances your ability to appreciate small victories. When you're focused solely on the end goal, it's easy to overlook the progress you're making along the way. Patience shifts your attention to the present, where even the smallest accomplishments hold value. This mindset encourages gratitude and reinforces your motivation to keep going. For example, if your goal is to run a marathon, patience helps you celebrate each training session as a step toward that goal, rather than fixating on the finish line. Another profound benefit of patience is its ability to deepen your self-awareness. Impatience often clouds your judgment, making it difficult to see your own patterns and tendencies. Patience creates space for reflection, allowing you to observe your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors with clarity. This self-awareness helps you identify areas where you can grow and adjust, making your efforts more intentional and effective. For example, if you notice that you're feeling stuck in your progress, patience encourages you to explore why that might be and find constructive ways to move forward. Patience also strengthens your relationships, both with yourself and others. When you're patient with yourself, you're more likely to approach challenges with compassion and understanding rather than criticism. This self-compassion creates a supportive inner environment that sustains your efforts over time. Similarly, when you're patient with others, you foster connection and mutual respect. For example, if you're collaborating with someone and encounter disagreements or delays, patience allows you to navigate those challenges with grace, strengthening the relationship in the process. One of the most transformative aspects of patience is its ability to shift your perspective on failure. Impatience often magnifies failures, making them feel permanent or insurmountable. Patience, however, reframes failure as a natural and necessary part of growth. It reminds you that every mistake is an opportunity to learn and improve. This perspective not only reduces the fear of failure, but also encourages you to take risks and step outside your comfort zone. For example, if you're learning a new language and struggle with pronunciation, patience helps you embrace those struggles as part of the process rather than as barriers to success. Ultimately, patience transforms discipline into a practice of trust. It encourages you to trust yourself, your process, and the natural flow of life. This trust creates a sense of harmony and balance, allowing you to approach discipline with confidence and peace. By cultivating patience, you discover that progress isn't something you have to force. It's something that unfolds naturally when you show up consistently and with intention. In this space of trust and patience, discipline becomes not just a means to an end, but a way of living that honors both your growth and your well-being. Patience allows progress to unfold naturally, creating a steady rhythm that keeps discipline sustainable and meaningful. Yet, even with patience, there is a deeper skill that elevates discipline to a place of true freedom, the art of detachment. In a world that often ties identity to achievements or setbacks, detachment offers a way to navigate success and failure with calmness and persistence. It's not about indifference. It's about understanding that neither success nor failure defines you. Detachment allows you to stay centered and consistent, no matter what external outcomes may bring. Detachment begins with recognizing the emotional weight we attach to outcomes. Success is often seen as a marker of worth, while failure is viewed as evidence of inadequacy. These attachments create a cycle of highs and lows, where your mood and self-esteem rise and fall with every result. Detachment breaks this cycle by helping you separate your identity from what you achieve. You are not defined by your victories or mistakes. You are defined by your efforts, intentions, and values. This understanding brings a sense of stability, as you are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances. One of the most liberating aspects of detachment is the clarity it brings. When you're overly attached to outcomes, your judgment can become clouded by fear or desire. For example, the fear of failure might lead you to avoid taking risks, while the desire for success might push you to compromise your values. Detachment clears this mental clutter, allowing you to act with integrity and focus. You're no longer chasing external validation or avoiding potential discomfort. You're simply doing what needs to be done with full awareness and presence. Detachment also strengthens your resilience. When you're not overly identified with success or failure, setbacks lose their sting and achievements lose their pressure. This balance creates a mindset that can weather any storm. For example, if you're working toward a personal goal and encounter a significant obstacle, detachment allows you to view it as a temporary challenge rather than a defining moment. This perspective helps you stay persistent, adjusting your approach without losing sight of your overall purpose. Another profound benefit of detachment is its ability to foster calmness. Attachment to outcomes often creates anxiety, as you're constantly worried about whether things will turn out the way you hope. Detachment, on the other hand, brings peace by shifting your focus from results to actions. You can't control every outcome, but you can control the effort and intention you bring to each moment. This focus on what's within your power reduces stress and helps you navigate uncertainty with greater ease. Detachment also enhances your ability to be present. When you're fixated on future results, it's easy to lose sight of the present moment. Detachment brings you back to the here and now, where your actions have the most impact. This presence allows you to fully engage with your efforts, making them more effective and meaningful. For example, if you're studying for an exam, detachment helps you focus on understanding the material rather than worrying about the grade. This shift not only improves your performance, but also makes the process more fulfilling. One of the most empowering aspects of detachment is the freedom it brings. When you're no longer tied to specific outcomes, you're free to explore, experiment, and take risks. Detachment removes the fear of failure, as you're not measuring your worth by the results you achieve. This freedom creates a sense of curiosity and openness, allowing you to approach challenges with a mindset of growth rather than fear. For example, if you're starting a new creative project, detachment encourages you to enjoy the process of creation rather than fixating on how it will be received. Detachment also deepens your connection to purpose. When you're overly focused on outcomes, it's easy to lose sight of why you started in the first place. Detachment brings you back to your core intentions, ensuring that your actions remain aligned with your values. This alignment makes discipline more meaningful and sustainable. For example, if your goal is to improve your physical health, detachment helps you focus on the intrinsic benefits of feeling stronger and healthier, rather than on external measurements like weight or appearance. Another powerful aspect of detachment is its role in fostering humility. Success can be intoxicating, leading to a sense of pride or entitlement. Failure, on the other hand, can feel humiliating, shaking your confidence and self-worth. Detachment helps you maintain a balanced perspective, viewing both success and failure as temporary and external. This humility keeps you grounded, allowing you to approach each experience with gratitude and openness. For example, if you achieve a major milestone, detachment helps you celebrate it without becoming attached to it, knowing that the journey continues. Detachment also transforms your relationship with effort. When you're overly focused on results, effort can feel like a means to an end, something you endure to achieve a goal. Detachment changes this perspective, allowing you to find value in the effort itself. Each action becomes an opportunity to express your values, refine your skills, and grow as a person. This mindset makes discipline feel less like a chore and more like a practice of self-alignment. For example, if you're learning to play an instrument, detachment helps you enjoy the process of practicing rather than fixating on mastering a particular piece. Another important aspect of detachment is its ability to reduce comparison. Attachment to outcomes often leads to comparing yourself to others, measuring your success against their achievements. This comparison creates unnecessary pressure and distracts you from your own path. Detachment frees you from this trap, reminding you that everyone's journey is unique. When you're not tied to specific outcomes, you can appreciate your progress without feeling the need to compete or compare. This perspective fosters self-acceptance and allows you to celebrate your growth on your own terms. Detachment also encourages adaptability. When you're overly attached to a specific result, it's easy to become rigid in your approach, resisting change even when it's necessary. Detachment allows you to stay flexible, adjusting your actions based on the situation. This adaptability is essential for long-term success, as it helps you navigate unexpected challenges and seize new opportunities. For example, if you're pursuing a career goal and encounter a setback, detachment helps you pivot and explore alternative paths rather than feeling defeated. One of the most profound lessons of detachment is the understanding that success and failure are both temporary. No achievement is permanent, and no setback is final. This impermanence allows you to approach each experience with a sense of balance and perspective. Detachment reminds you that life is a continuous process of growth and change, and that your worth is not tied to any single moment or outcome. This perspective creates a sense of inner stability, allowing you to navigate life's ups and downs with grace. Ultimately, detachment transforms discipline into a practice of freedom and self-discovery. It frees you from the mental weight of expectations, allowing you to engage fully with the present moment. It helps you find value in effort, connection in purpose, and peace in impermanence. By letting go of over-identification with success or failure, you discover that discipline isn't about proving yourself to the world. It's about becoming more of who you truly are. And in that becoming, you find not only calmness and persistence, but also a deep and abiding sense of fulfillment. Detachment brings freedom by releasing the emotional weight tied to success or failure, but it also opens the door to a deeper understanding of what truly matters. Often, the path to effective discipline isn't about doing more. It's about doing less, but with greater purpose. The Zen approach to discipline reveals that simplicity isn't a lack of effort. It's the art of removing distractions, noise, and excess so that your energy flows toward what genuinely counts. When life feels overwhelming, simplicity offers clarity, focus, and a sense of ease that turns discipline into a natural, sustainable rhythm. Simplicity begins with clarity of purpose. Overcomplicating your goals often leads to confusion and frustration. When too many priorities compete for your attention, it becomes harder to take meaningful steps, toward any of them. Simplifying starts by identifying what truly matters. This involves stripping away tasks, commitments, and ambitions that don't align with your values or long-term vision. By narrowing your focus, you create space for intentional action. For example, instead of setting 10 goals, you might choose 1 or 2 that resonate deeply with your priorities. This clarity not only lightens your mental load, but also increases your effectiveness. The act of simplifying also requires letting go of perfectionism. Perfectionism often drives people to overcommit, believing that doing everything flawlessly is the only way to succeed. But this mindset leads to overwhelm, as no one can maintain perfect performance across endless responsibilities. Simplicity challenges this belief by encouraging you to embrace good enough in areas that don't demand perfection. This doesn't mean settling for mediocrity. It means recognizing that not every detail requires your full energy. By focusing your best efforts where they matter most, you free yourself from unnecessary pressure. Streamlining also involves decluttering not just your actions, but your environment. A cluttered space often reflects a cluttered mind, making it harder to concentrate and stay disciplined. Simplifying your physical surroundings, whether it's your workspace, home, or schedule, can create a sense of calm and order. For instance, organizing your desk or removing distractions from your phone allows you to focus more deeply on your work. This physical clarity mirrors mental clarity, making it easier to approach discipline with purpose and ease. Simplicity also transforms how you approach time. Time management often feels overwhelming because of competing demands and a constant sense of urgency. The Zen perspective encourages a shift from trying to fit everything in to intentionally choosing what deserves your time. This means learning to say no to obligations that don't align with your goals and being fully present for the tasks you do choose. For example, rather than multitasking, you might dedicate uninterrupted time to a single project, giving it your full attention. This focused approach not only enhances productivity, but also reduces the stress of feeling stretched too thin. Another aspect of simplicity is redefining success. Society often equates success with doing more, achieving more, and constantly striving for bigger goals. But this mindset can lead to exhaustion and disconnection from what truly fulfills you. The Zen approach invites you to measure success by how aligned your actions are with your values, rather than by how much you accomplish. This shift allows you to let go of unnecessary pursuits and focus on what brings genuine satisfaction. For instance, success might look like spending quality time with loved ones or completing a meaningful project, rather than meeting arbitrary benchmarks. Simplifying also enhances your relationship with effort. When you try to do too much, effort can feel scattered and exhausting. By focusing on fewer, more meaningful actions, you make each effort count. This concentrated energy creates a sense of flow, where discipline feels less like a struggle and more like a natural part of your day. For example, if your goal is to build a meditation practice, simplicity might mean starting with just 5 minutes a day, rather than committing to an hour. This manageable step creates consistency, which is far more effective than sporadic bursts of effort. The practice of simplifying extends to how you set goals. Overly complex goals can feel overwhelming, making it harder to take action. Simplifying involves breaking goals into smaller, actionable steps. This approach makes progress feel achievable and keeps you motivated. For example, if your goal is to write a book, you might start by committing to writing for 20 minutes a day, rather than focusing on the entire manuscript. Each small step builds momentum, creating a steady path toward your larger vision. Simplicity also fosters resilience by reducing the mental load that comes with overcomplication. When your life is filled with too many commitments or responsibilities, even small challenges can feel insurmountable. Simplifying creates space for flexibility, allowing you to adapt to unexpected obstacles without becoming overwhelmed. For instance, if you have a streamlined schedule, it's easier to adjust when something urgent arises. This adaptability not only supports your discipline, but also enhances your overall sense of balance and well-being. Another benefit of simplicity is the freedom it brings from comparison. In a culture that often glorifies busyness and achievement, it's easy to feel inadequate if you're not constantly doing more. Simplifying helps you let go of the need to keep up with others and focus on what truly matters to you. This perspective fosters self-acceptance and allows you to celebrate your unique path without being distracted by external pressures. For example, if you prioritize spending time outdoors over pursuing a high-powered career, simplicity helps you honor that choice without feeling the need to justify it. Simplifying also creates space for reflection. When your life is overly complicated, it's hard to pause and evaluate whether your actions are aligned with your values. Simplicity encourages regular moments of introspection, where you can assess what's working, what's not, and what needs to change. This reflection allows you to course-correct and stay connected to your purpose. For example, you might realize that certain tasks or commitments are no longer serving you and choose to let them go, freeing up energy for what matters most. The Zen approach to simplicity also emphasizes the importance of intentionality. Simplifying isn't just about doing less, it's about doing what matters with greater focus and care. This means approaching each task with mindfulness, fully engaging with what you're doing rather than rushing through it. For instance, if you're preparing a meal, simplicity might mean savoring the process of chopping vegetables and cooking rather than multitasking or rushing to finish. This intentionality transforms even mundane actions into meaningful experiences, enhancing both discipline and enjoyment. Simplicity also helps you cultivate gratitude. When your life is less cluttered, it becomes easier to appreciate the small joys and accomplishments that often go unnoticed. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present, creating a sense of contentment and fulfillment. This perspective not only enhances your well-being, but also reinforces your motivation to stay disciplined. For example, taking a moment to appreciate the progress you've made toward a goal can remind you of why you started and inspire you to keep going. Another powerful aspect of simplicity is its ability to reduce stress. Overcomplication often creates a sense of urgency and pressure, where every task feels like a priority. Simplifying helps you distinguish between what's essential and what's not, reducing the mental noise that contributes to stress. This clarity allows you to approach discipline with a sense of calm and focus, making it easier to stay consistent. For instance, simplifying your morning routine by focusing on a few key habits can set a positive tone for the day without feeling rushed or overwhelmed. Ultimately, simplicity transforms discipline into a practice of alignment and ease. It allows you to let go of what's unnecessary, focus on what truly matters, and approach your efforts with clarity and purpose. By embracing simplicity, you create a life that feels both meaningful and manageable, where discipline is not a burden, but a natural expression of your values and intentions. Through this practice, you discover that success isn't about doing everything. It's about doing the right things with care and focus. And in that simplicity, you find the space to grow, thrive, and truly succeed. Simplicity clears the path, making space for intentional and focused effort. Yet, even with simplicity as a guiding principle, there's a need for a deeper structure, one that balances effort with rest and aligns discipline with a sense of purpose. The Noble Eightfold Path offers such a framework, one that weaves mindfulness, ethics, and wisdom into a harmonious way of living. This path is not just a guide for spiritual growth, but a practical approach to creating a disciplined life rooted in balance, clarity, and meaning. At its core, the Eightfold Path encourages a life where every action, thought, and intention is in alignment with a greater sense of harmony. Discipline becomes less about forcing results and more about cultivating a steady rhythm that nurtures both effort and renewal. This framework begins with the principle of right understanding, which serves as the foundation for all other aspects. Right understanding involves seeing the world as it is, free from illusions and misperceptions. It encourages you to approach discipline with clarity, recognizing the true nature of your goals and the obstacles you might face. By starting with a clear vision, you create a foundation that keeps your actions aligned with your intentions. Right intention builds on this clarity by encouraging you to act with purpose and integrity. Discipline without intention often feels hollow, as if you're chasing goals that lack meaning. The Eightfold Path emphasizes the importance of aligning your actions with your values, creating a sense of coherence between what you do and why you do it. This alignment makes discipline feel less like a burden and more like an expression of your deeper commitments. For instance, if your goal is to improve your health, right intention keeps your focus on the value of self-care rather than external pressures like appearance or social expectations. Right speech brings awareness to how you communicate, both with yourself and others. The words you use shape your mindset and influence your actions, making them a crucial aspect of discipline. Harsh or critical self-talk can undermine your efforts, creating doubt and resistance. The Eightfold Path encourages you to speak kindly and truthfully, fostering an inner dialogue that supports your growth. This compassionate communication extends to your interactions with others, creating relationships that reinforce your discipline rather than distract from it. Right action focuses on ethical behavior, reminding you that how you pursue your goals matters as much as the goals themselves. Discipline that disregards ethics often leads to short-term gains at the expense of long-term well-being. The Eightfold Path encourages you to act in ways that are not only effective, but also honorable, ensuring that your efforts contribute positively to your life and the lives of others. This principle fosters a sense of accountability, making it easier to stay consistent in your actions. Right livelihood emphasizes the importance of aligning your work with your values. This principle extends beyond your career to include any activity that contributes to your goals. When your actions are in harmony with your beliefs, discipline feels more natural and sustainable. For example, if your goal is to cultivate mindfulness, incorporating mindful practices into your daily routine reinforces this value and creates a sense of integration. Right livelihood reminds you that discipline isn't just about individual effort. It's about creating a life that reflects your principles. Right effort highlights the importance of balance, encouraging you to approach discipline with both determination and ease. Overexertion often leads to burnout, while undercommitment stalls progress. The Eightfold Path teaches that effort should be steady and sustainable, like a flame that burns brightly without consuming itself. This balanced approach helps you maintain momentum without feeling overwhelmed. For instance, if you're working toward a creative goal, Right effort might involve setting manageable daily targets rather than pushing yourself to exhaustion. Right mindfulness emphasizes the importance of presence and awareness. Discipline without mindfulness often becomes mechanical, disconnected from the meaning behind your actions. The Eightfold Path encourages you to stay present, fully engaging with each step of your journey. This mindfulness not only enhances your focus, but also brings a sense of joy and fulfillment to your efforts. For example, if your goal is to practice gratitude, mindfulness helps you notice and appreciate the small blessings in your daily life, reinforcing your commitment to the practice. Right concentration brings a sense of focus and stability to your efforts. In a world filled with distractions, concentration is a skill that requires cultivation. The Eightfold Path teaches that discipline thrives when you direct your attention fully to the task at hand. This concentrated effort allows you to work more effectively and with greater satisfaction. For instance, if you're learning a new skill, right concentration helps you stay engaged and avoid the temptation to multitask or rush through the process. Together, these principles create a framework that supports both effort and rest, recognizing that discipline is not just about pushing forward, but also about finding balance. Rest is not a break from discipline, it is an essential part of it. The Eightfold Path reminds you that renewal is necessary for sustained effort. This perspective allows you to incorporate periods of rest and reflection into your routine without guilt, knowing that they are vital to your growth. The Eightfold Path also emphasizes the interconnectedness of its principles, showing that discipline is not an isolated practice, but part of a larger whole. Right understanding informs right intention, which shapes right action, and so on. This interconnectedness creates a sense of harmony, where each aspect reinforces the others. For example, mindfulness enhances concentration, which in turn strengthens your efforts, creating a positive cycle that sustains your discipline. Applying the Eightfold Path to discipline also fosters a sense of humility. It reminds you that growth is a journey, not a destination, and that perfection is not the goal. This humility encourages you to approach discipline with curiosity and openness, allowing you to learn from both successes and setbacks. For instance, if you encounter a challenge that tests your patience, the Eightfold Path helps you see it as an opportunity to deepen your practice, rather than as a failure. Ultimately, the Noble Eightfold Path transforms discipline into a practice of balance and alignment. It provides a structure that integrates effort, rest, mindfulness, and intention, creating a life that reflects your values and aspirations. By following this path, you discover that discipline is not about forcing yourself to meet expectations, but about creating harmony within yourself and with the world around you. And in that harmony, you find the strength, clarity, and peace to keep moving forward. The Noble Eightfold Path lays the foundation for a balanced and harmonious approach to discipline, weaving together clarity, mindfulness, and intention. Yet, even with such a profound framework, the mind can wander, emotions can overwhelm, and focus can waver. Meditation steps in as a powerful tool to anchor the mind, deepen clarity, and foster emotional stability. It is not merely a practice of sitting still, it is a transformative discipline that strengthens the connection between the mind, body, and actions. Through meditation, self-discipline evolves into an effortless flow, rooted in presence and resilience. Meditation begins with awareness. In daily life, distractions often pull attention in multiple directions, diluting focus and scattering energy. This fragmentation makes it difficult to stay consistent or committed to meaningful goals. Meditation trains the mind to return to the present moment, sharpening your ability to direct your attention intentionally. Over time, this heightened awareness carries into daily tasks, making discipline less about battling distractions and more about maintaining clarity. For instance, if you're trying to stay consistent with a morning routine, meditation helps you recognize when your mind starts to resist and brings you back to the purpose of your actions. Consistency in meditation builds mental clarity by reducing mental clutter. The mind often churns with unnecessary thoughts, creating confusion and stress. Meditation acts as a filter, helping you distinguish between what is essential and what is noise. By sitting with your thoughts without judgment, you develop the ability to let go of mental distractions that do not serve you. This clarity translates directly into discipline, as a focused mind can make decisions and take action without being overwhelmed by doubt or hesitation. Meditation also strengthens self-awareness, which is a cornerstone of self-discipline. Many impulsive actions arise from unconscious habits or emotional reactions. Without awareness, these patterns can derail your progress, leading to choices that contradict your intentions. Meditation cultivates a deep understanding of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, allowing you to identify triggers and respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. For example, if stress tempts you to procrastinate, meditation helps you recognize the stress, acknowledge it without judgment, and choose a more constructive response. One of the most transformative aspects of meditation is its ability to foster emotional stability. Emotions can be powerful drivers of behavior, but they can also create obstacles to discipline when they become overwhelming. Meditation teaches you to observe your emotions without becoming entangled in them. This practice creates space between feeling and action, allowing you to act in alignment with your goals, rather than being swept away by fleeting moods. For instance, if frustration arises while working on a challenging task, meditation helps you sit with that frustration, allowing it to pass without derailing your efforts. Another benefit of meditation is its role in cultivating patience. Discipline often requires sustained effort over time, which can test your ability to wait for results. Meditation trains you to embrace stillness and remain present, even when progress feels slow. This patience carries over into your daily life, making it easier to stay committed to long-term goals. For example, if you're building a new habit, meditation helps you focus on the small, consistent steps rather than becoming impatient for immediate outcomes. Meditation also enhances resilience by helping you navigate setbacks with grace. Challenges and failures are inevitable in any journey, but they don't have to define your path. Through meditation, you learn to approach difficulties with a sense of curiosity and acceptance rather than resistance. This perspective shifts your relationship with setbacks, allowing you to see them as opportunities for growth rather than as barriers. For instance, if you miss a day in your exercise routine, meditation helps you reflect on what happened without judgment and refocus on your next step. The regular practice of meditation also cultivates a sense of discipline within the practice itself. Sitting in meditation requires consistency, even when it feels challenging or uncomfortable. This act of showing up for yourself each day strengthens your ability to commit to other areas of your life. The discipline developed in meditation becomes a foundation for broader self-discipline, reinforcing your capacity to stay consistent in other pursuits. For example, the patience and focus you build in meditation can enhance your ability to stay engaged with a long-term project or goal. Meditation also teaches the art of letting go. which is essential for maintaining balance in discipline. The desire for control often creates unnecessary stress as you try to force outcomes or hold on to expectations. Meditation shows you that control is an illusion and that true peace comes from accepting what is. This mindset allows you to approach discipline with a sense of ease, focusing on your efforts without becoming attached to specific results. For example, if you're working toward a professional milestone, meditation helps you stay committed without becoming consumed by the pressure to achieve. Another profound lesson of meditation is the realization that progress doesn't always require effort. In a culture that often equates discipline with constant striving, meditation provides a counterbalance by showing the power of stillness. Sitting in silence might seem passive, but it is a deeply active engagement with the present moment. This practice reminds you that rest and reflection are not distractions from discipline, they are integral parts of it. By incorporating periods of stillness into your routine, you create space for renewal, making your efforts more sustainable. Meditation also deepens your connection to purpose. In the rush of daily life, it's easy to lose sight of why you're pursuing certain goals. Meditation creates a quiet space where you can reconnect with your values and intentions. This clarity of purpose strengthens your motivation, making it easier to stay disciplined even when challenges arise. For example, if you're striving to improve your health, meditation helps you focus on the intrinsic value of well-being rather than external pressures like appearance or societal expectations. The practice of meditation also enhances your ability to cultivate gratitude, which is a powerful motivator for discipline. When you take time to reflect on what you're grateful for, you shift your focus from what's lacking to what's present. This perspective creates a sense of abundance, making it easier to approach discipline with a positive mindset. For instance, instead of feeling burdened by the effort required to reach a goal, gratitude helps you see the opportunity to grow and improve as a privilege. Meditation fosters humility by reminding you of the interconnectedness of all things. Discipline often feels like an individual effort, but meditation reveals that your actions are part of a larger whole. This awareness creates a sense of responsibility as you recognize that your efforts not only impact yourself, but also those around you. For example, cultivating discipline in your personal life might inspire others to pursue their own goals, creating a ripple effect of positive change. Meditation transforms discipline into a practice of self-love. When you meditate, you're not just training your mind, you're caring for yourself in a deeply meaningful way. This act of self-care reinforces the idea that discipline is not about punishment or deprivation. It's about honoring your own growth and well-being. Through meditation, you learn to approach discipline with kindness, patience, and respect, creating a foundation that supports not just your goals, but your entire way of being. By integrating meditation into your life, you unlock a deeper level of self-discipline that is rooted in clarity, stability, and compassion. It becomes more than a tool for achieving goals. It becomes a practice of aligning your actions with your values, cultivating inner peace, and living with intention. Through meditation, you discover that discipline is not about striving harder, but about living more fully in the present moment, where true growth and transformation begin. Meditation deepens discipline by fostering clarity, stability, and a sense of presence, allowing your actions to align naturally with your intentions. Yet, even with such a powerful tool, the way effort is applied can make all the difference. Discipline often carries the connotation of pushing through difficulties, of forcing results through sheer willpower. However, there is a gentler, more effective way, one that doesn't rely on strain, but on balanced, intentional effort. This approach, known as right effort, brings a sense of ease to discipline, turning it into a sustainable and fulfilling practice. Right effort is not about doing less or avoiding challenges. It is about approaching discipline in a way that aligns with your natural rhythms. Effort becomes not an act of force, but a flowing expression of purpose. When effort is strained or excessive, it leads to burnout and resistance. On the other hand, effort that is too lax fails to bring meaningful progress. Right effort finds the middle ground, balancing determination with gentleness and persistence with flexibility. This balance begins with recognizing the difference between effort and force. Force implies a struggle, a pushing against resistance that often creates more tension than progress. Right effort, in contrast, works with the natural flow of energy and motivation. It requires awareness of your own limits and the willingness to respect them. For instance, if you are building a new habit, such as exercising regularly, forcing yourself to work out every day without rest can lead to exhaustion or injury. Right effort would guide you to create a routine that challenges you, but also allows for recovery, making the habit sustainable over time. A key component of right effort is intention. When effort is guided by clear and meaningful intentions, it feels less like a chore and more like an act of alignment. Intention provides direction, ensuring that your energy is focused on what truly matters. Without intention, effort can become scattered or misdirected, leading to frustration. For example, if your goal is to improve your focus at work, right effort would involve identifying specific practices, such as minimizing distractions or taking mindful breaks, rather than simply working harder or longer hours. Right effort also requires mindfulness. Without awareness, it is easy to fall into patterns of overexertion or avoidance. Mindfulness helps you tune into your own needs and energy levels, allowing you to adjust your efforts accordingly. For instance, if you are studying for an exam and notice that your concentration is waning, mindfulness might prompt you to take a short break to recharge, rather than forcing yourself to keep going ineffectively. This approach not only improves the quality of your efforts, but also reduces the stress and frustration that come with pushing beyond your limits. Another important aspect of right effort is consistency. Effort that is intense but inconsistent often leads to burnout or stagnation. Right effort emphasizes the value of steady, regular practice over time. This consistency builds momentum, making discipline feel like a natural part of your life rather than a series of start and stop struggles. For example, if you are learning a new language, practicing for a short time every day is far more effective than cramming for hours once a week. Consistent effort creates a sense of rhythm, which in turn supports long-term progress. Right effort also involves letting go of perfectionism. The belief that you must always perform perfectly can create unnecessary pressure and hinder your ability to take meaningful action. Right effort encourages you to focus on doing your best in the present moment, without fixating on whether your efforts meet an ideal standard. For instance, if you are writing a report, right effort would guide you to focus on completing the draft, rather than obsessing over every detail in the first pass. This approach not only reduces stress, but also allows for greater creativity and productivity. Flexibility is another key principle of right effort. Life is unpredictable, and rigid approaches to discipline often fail when unexpected challenges arise. Right effort teaches you to adapt your actions to the circumstances, maintaining your commitment while remaining open to change. For example, if your original plan for the day is disrupted by an unforeseen event, right effort would involve finding an alternative way to honor your goals rather than abandoning them entirely. This adaptability ensures that your discipline remains resilient and effective, even in the face of setbacks. Right effort also emphasizes the importance of rest. In a culture that often glorifies busyness, rest can feel like a luxury rather than a necessity. However, rest is essential for maintaining the energy and focus needed for sustained effort. Right effort recognizes that rest is not a break from discipline, it is a vital part of it. For instance, if you are training for a marathon, incorporating rest days into your schedule allows your body to recover and prevents overtraining. This balance between effort and rest ensures that your discipline remains sustainable over the long term. Compassion plays a significant role in right effort. Harsh self-criticism often undermines discipline, creating a cycle of guilt and resistance. Right effort encourages you to approach yourself with kindness and understanding, especially when challenges arise. For example, if you fall short of a goal, right effort would guide you to reflect on what happened with curiosity rather than judgment, allowing you to learn from the experience and move forward. This compassionate approach creates a supportive inner environment that strengthens your commitment to discipline. Right effort also fosters a sense of joy in the process. When effort is strained or forced, it often feels like a burden. Right effort, however, transforms discipline into a source of satisfaction and fulfillment. By focusing on the intrinsic value of your actions, you begin to find joy in the journey itself, rather than waiting for external results. For instance, if your goal is to practice mindfulness, right effort would help you appreciate the sense of peace and clarity that arises from each meditation session, regardless of how successful the practice feels. Another benefit of right effort is its ability to build trust in yourself. When your efforts are balanced and intentional, you begin to see yourself as capable and reliable. This self-trust reinforces your discipline, creating a positive feedback loop that makes it easier to stay committed to your goals. For example, if you consistently follow through on your daily commitments, right effort helps you build confidence in your ability to handle larger challenges. This sense of trust not only supports your discipline, but also enhances your overall sense of self-worth. Ultimately, right effort transforms discipline into a practice of alignment and balance. It allows you to approach your goals with clarity, mindfulness, and compassion, creating a sustainable path that honors both your aspirations and your well-being. By embracing right effort, you discover that discipline is not about forcing yourself to achieve. It is about finding the harmony between effort and ease, where growth becomes a natural and fulfilling part of your life. Through this practice, you build habits and actions that are not only effective, but also deeply meaningful, ensuring that your discipline supports not just your goals, but your entire way of being. Right effort creates balance, allowing discipline to flow naturally without strain or force. But even with balance, another challenge often threatens to derail progress: guilt. That heavy, lingering sense of self-blame can feel like a constant companion, whispering doubts and draining energy. Guilt is an invisible weight that clings to even the most disciplined efforts, sabotaging focus and self-belief. To move forward with clarity and strength, it's essential to address guilt directly, to understand its roots, and to let go of its grip. Guilt often arises from unmet expectations, whether set by others or imposed on yourself. When you fall short of a goal, it's easy to spiral into thoughts of inadequacy, feeling as though you've failed not just in your actions, but in your character. This self-criticism creates a cycle of doubt and hesitation, making it harder to take the next step. Letting go of guilt begins with recognizing that mistakes are a natural part of growth. Perfection is an illusion, and expecting flawless execution only sets you up for disappointment. By reframing mistakes as opportunities to learn, you shift from self-blame to self-compassion. Self-criticism, fueled by guilt, often becomes a barrier to discipline. It can create an inner narrative that tells you you're not capable or deserving of success. This narrative feeds procrastination and avoidance, as the fear of repeating past mistakes overshadows the courage to try again. To break this cycle, it's important to separate your actions from your identity. A missed deadline, a skipped workout, or an unproductive day doesn't define who you are. It's simply a moment in time. By detaching your worth from your actions, you free yourself to pursue discipline without the constant shadow of guilt. Guilt also thrives in isolation. When you keep your feelings of self-blame hidden, they grow unchecked, feeding on secrecy and shame. Sharing your struggles with someone you trust can be a powerful way to release guilt. Talking about your experiences often reveals that you're not alone and that others have faced similar challenges. This connection fosters a sense of understanding and perspective, reminding you that guilt is not a permanent state, but a temporary feeling that can be addressed and overcome. Letting go of guilt also involves examining the standards you hold for yourself. Unrealistic expectations often set the stage for guilt to take root. If you constantly demand perfection, you create an environment where even small mistakes feel catastrophic. Adjusting your expectations to reflect reality doesn't mean lowering your standards. It means recognizing that effort and progress are more important than perfection. This shift allows you to approach discipline with a sense of curiosity and flexibility, rather than fear and rigidity. Another way guilt sabotages discipline is by draining your energy. The mental and emotional weight of guilt leaves little room for motivation or focus. It's like trying to climb a mountain while carrying a heavy backpack. Letting go of guilt involves lightening that load by practicing forgiveness, not just for others, but for yourself. Self-forgiveness is a powerful act of kindness that allows you to acknowledge your humanity and move forward without the burden of self-judgment. This forgiveness doesn't excuse mistakes, but rather creates space for growth and renewal. Guilt also impacts how you view success. When guilt dominates your mindset, even achievements can feel hollow, as though they're not enough to make up for past mistakes. This perspective robs you of the joy and satisfaction that comes from progress. Letting go of guilt involves celebrating your victories, no matter how small, and recognizing them as steps toward your larger goals. By shifting your focus to what you've accomplished rather than what you've missed, you reinforce a positive cycle of motivation and self-belief. Mindfulness plays a crucial role in overcoming guilt. Guilt often thrives on repetitive thoughts about the past, replaying mistakes and regrets in an endless loop. Mindfulness helps you break free from this cycle by bringing your attention to the present moment. When you focus on the here and now, you create distance from the guilt-driven narratives that hold you back. For example, if you're feeling guilty about a missed opportunity, mindfulness allows you to redirect your energy toward the actions you can take today, rather than dwelling on what's already past. Letting go of guilt also requires challenging the belief that guilt is necessary for growth. Many people hold the idea that guilt is a form of accountability, a way to ensure they don't repeat mistakes. However, guilt often creates more harm than good, leading to self-doubt and inaction rather than positive change. True accountability comes from reflection and intention, not from punishment. By examining what led to a mistake and taking constructive steps to address it, you create a foundation for growth that doesn't rely on guilt. Compassion is another key element in releasing guilt. When you treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend, guilt loses its power. Compassion allows you to see your efforts in context, recognizing the challenges you face and the progress you've made. For example, if you're working on improving a habit and stumble along the way, compassion helps you acknowledge the effort you've put in rather than fixating on the slip. This perspective fosters resilience and encourages you to keep moving forward. Letting go of guilt also involves shifting your focus from the past to the future. Guilt often keeps you stuck in what went wrong, preventing you from seeing the possibilities ahead. By redirecting your energy toward your goals and intentions, you reclaim your ability to act. This forward focus doesn't ignore past mistakes. It acknowledges them as part of your journey and uses them as stepping stones for growth. For instance, if you've fallen short in maintaining a commitment, focusing on how you can renew that commitment today empowers you to take action. Another way to release guilt is by practicing gratitude. Guilt often narrows your perspective, making it difficult to see the positive aspects of your life and efforts. Gratitude expands your view, reminding you of what's going well and what you have to be thankful for. This shift in perspective reduces the weight of guilt and reinforces a sense of optimism and possibility. For example, if you're feeling guilty about not spending enough time on a project, reflecting on the progress you have made can inspire renewed motivation. Letting go of guilt also requires recognizing its impermanence. Emotions, including guilt, are not static. They ebb and flow, rising and falling like waves. This understanding allows you to approach guilt with a sense of detachment, knowing that it doesn't define you and that it will pass. By sitting with the feeling without judgment, you create space for it to dissipate naturally, leaving room for clarity and focus to return. This practice of acceptance helps you navigate guilt without letting it derail your discipline. Ultimately, letting go of guilt transforms discipline from a struggle into a practice of self-respect. It allows you to approach your goals with a sense of curiosity, compassion, and courage, free from the weight of self-blame. Guilt no longer becomes a barrier to growth, but a reminder to treat yourself with the kindness and understanding you deserve. Through this process, you discover that true discipline isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about learning from them and continuing forward with a renewed sense of purpose and resilience. Letting go of guilt frees you to approach life and discipline with a lighter heart, unburdened by self-blame. Yet even with this release, challenges inevitably arise. Struggles can feel all-encompassing, as though they define your present and dictate your future. But here lies a profound truth. Nothing is permanent, not even difficulty. The principle of impermanence offers a way to view challenges as temporary, helping you stay grounded and calm, no matter how overwhelming life may seem. This understanding transforms the experience of struggle into an opportunity for growth rather than a source of despair. Impermanence teaches that all things, both joy and pain, are in a constant state of flux. When you find yourself in the midst of a challenge, it's easy to feel as though the struggle will last forever. The mind has a way of amplifying problems, making them appear larger and more unyielding than they are. But just as a storm eventually passes, so too does the intensity of any hardship. Recognizing this truth doesn't diminish the difficulty of the moment. Instead, it provides the perspective needed to endure it. Knowing that challenges are not eternal gives you the strength to face them with patience and resolve. This perspective shifts your relationship with adversity. Instead of seeing struggles as barriers, you begin to view them as part of a larger journey. Each challenge becomes a temporary phase, something to navigate rather than avoid. This mindset fosters resilience, allowing you to keep moving forward even when the path feels steep. For instance, if you're experiencing setbacks in a personal goal, the principle of impermanence reminds you that this phase is just one chapter in your story, not the entirety of it. This understanding helps you maintain focus and commitment, knowing that better days lie ahead. Impermanence also softens the grip of fear. Fear often arises from the belief that difficulties will escalate or never end. This fear can paralyze you, preventing you from taking constructive action. But when you embrace the truth of impermanence, fear loses much of its power. You come to see that even the most daunting challenges have an endpoint, and within that realization lies freedom. For example, if you're navigating a difficult relationship or work situation, recognizing that these circumstances will change over time allows you to respond with calmness and clarity rather than panic. Another benefit of understanding impermanence is the way it fosters acceptance. Struggles often become harder to bear when you resist them, wishing they were different or hoping to escape them altogether. This resistance adds an extra layer of suffering to an already challenging situation. Embracing impermanence allows you to accept struggles as they are, without unnecessary resistance. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means working with the reality of the moment rather than fighting against it. For instance, if you're facing a health setback, acceptance helps you focus on what you can do to heal rather than dwelling on the unfairness of the situation. Impermanence also encourages you to focus on the present moment. When you're caught in a struggle, the mind often fixates on the future, imagining worst-case scenarios or endless outcomes. This future-focused thinking creates anxiety and makes the challenge feel even heavier. The principle of impermanence brings you back to the here and now, reminding you that the only moment you truly have is the present. By focusing on what you can do today, you take practical steps toward resolution, rather than getting lost in fears about what may or may not happen. The temporary nature of struggle also teaches you the value of patience. When challenges arise, the impulse is often to seek immediate solutions or quick fixes. But not all problems can be resolved on your timeline. Some require time, effort, and a willingness to let things unfold naturally. Impermanence reminds you that just as seasons change, so too do the circumstances of your life. Practicing patience allows you to trust this process, knowing that the discomfort you feel now will not last forever. This trust creates space for steady progress and reduces the pressure to force outcomes. Impermanence also highlights the importance of perspective. Challenges can feel all-consuming when viewed up close, but when you step back and look at the bigger picture, their impact often appears smaller. The principle of impermanence encourages you to zoom out, seeing struggles as fleeting moments within the broader arc of your life. For example, a difficult week at work might feel overwhelming in the moment, but when viewed in the context of your entire career, it becomes just one temporary hurdle. This perspective helps you navigate challenges with a sense of proportion, reducing their emotional weight. Another powerful lesson of impermanence is the way it fosters gratitude. When you understand that struggles are temporary, you also come to appreciate the moments of ease and joy in your life. Challenges often make these positive moments more visible as they remind you of what you value and cherish. This gratitude provides a source of strength, helping you stay motivated even during difficult times. For instance, if you're facing financial stress, reflecting on the support of loved ones or the resources you do have can create a sense of resilience and hope. Impermanence also cultivates flexibility. Challenges often require you to adapt, letting go of rigid plans or expectations. The principle of impermanence reminds you that change is constant, and the ability to adjust is a strength. Flexibility allows you to navigate challenges with creativity and openness, finding solutions that may not have been apparent initially. For example, if an unexpected obstacle arises in a project, being flexible enables you to pivot and explore alternative approaches rather than becoming stuck in frustration. Letting go of the idea that struggles define you is another key aspect of impermanence. It's easy to internalize challenges, believing that they reflect who you are or what you're capable of. Impermanence reveals that struggles are external events, not permanent aspects of your identity. This distinction frees you from self-judgment, allowing you to approach challenges with a sense of curiosity rather than self-doubt. For instance, if you're struggling with a new skill, impermanence helps you see the struggle as a natural part of the learning process, rather than a reflection of your abilities. Ultimately, the principle of impermanence transforms how you experience struggles. It shifts your mindset from resistance to acceptance, from fear to curiosity, and from frustration to resilience. By viewing challenges as temporary, you create space for growth, learning, and even gratitude. This perspective doesn't eliminate difficulties, but it changes how you relate to them, allowing you to navigate life with greater calmness and strength. In embracing impermanence, you discover that struggles, like all things, have their time, and that your ability to endure and adapt will always carry you forward. The principle of impermanence teaches that struggles are fleeting, and within their temporary nature lies the opportunity to grow. Yet, growth itself often feels slow and unsteady, especially when large goals seem far away. This is where the power of gratitude for small wins transforms the journey. Progress, no matter how modest, holds the key to long-term perseverance. Recognizing and celebrating these small victories not only fuels motivation, but also reshapes your mindset, shifting the focus from what remains undone to what has already been accomplished. Gratitude for small wins begins with awareness. The mind often gravitates toward what is missing or what hasn't yet been achieved, overlooking the steps already taken. This fixation on the end goal creates frustration, making it easy to underestimate progress. Gratitude shifts this perspective by highlighting the significance of each small step, turning what might seem ordinary into something worth celebrating. For instance, completing a single chapter of a book you're writing may not feel monumental, but acknowledging the effort it took brings a sense of fulfillment and keeps you engaged with the larger task. Celebrating small wins also nurtures consistency. Large goals can feel overwhelming, their scale intimidating enough to discourage action. Breaking these goals into smaller, achievable milestones creates a sense of momentum, where each completed step becomes a source of encouragement. Gratitude magnifies this momentum, reinforcing the belief that progress is possible. For example, if you're building a fitness routine, acknowledging each day you show up, regardless of performance, strengthens your commitment to continue. This consistency compounds over time, turning small efforts into significant achievements. Gratitude also deepens your connection to your efforts. When you pause to appreciate small wins, you create a moment of joy and satisfaction that strengthens your relationship with the process. Without this appreciation, discipline can feel like a grind, disconnected from the sense of purpose that drives it. Gratitude bridges this gap, reminding you why you started and making each step feel meaningful. For instance, if your goal is to save money, recognizing small milestones like avoiding unnecessary expenses or reaching a weekly target keeps you emotionally invested in the broader objective. Another profound effect of gratitude for small wins is its ability to counter self-doubt. Challenges and setbacks can erode confidence, making you question your abilities or the feasibility of your goals. Celebrating small victories restores this confidence, proving to yourself that progress is not only possible but also happening. Each acknowledgement of a win, no matter how small, becomes evidence of your capability and determination. For instance, if you're learning a new skill and feel stuck, reflecting on even minor improvements reminds you of your capacity to grow and adapt. Gratitude also enhances resilience by shifting your focus from perfection to progress. The pursuit of perfection often leads to disappointment, as even the most disciplined efforts rarely result in flawless outcomes. Gratitude reframes success, showing that every step forward, however imperfect, is valuable. This perspective reduces the pressure to perform perfectly and encourages you to keep going despite setbacks. For example, if you're practicing mindfulness and find your thoughts wandering during meditation, celebrating the act of returning your focus rather than criticizing the wandering helps you stay committed to the practice. Another benefit of celebrating small wins is the way it strengthens your intrinsic motivation. External rewards or recognition can be fleeting, but the sense of accomplishment that comes from within has lasting power. Gratitude cultivates this internal motivation by helping you connect with the personal significance of your efforts. Each small win becomes a reminder of your values and goals, reinforcing your commitment to continue. For instance, if you're working on a creative project, appreciating the progress you've made so far energizes you to take the next step, even without external validation. Gratitude also fosters patience, an essential quality for long-term perseverance. When goals take time to achieve, it's easy to become impatient and lose sight of the bigger picture. Gratitude for small wins anchors you in the present moment, helping you appreciate the journey rather than rushing toward the destination. This patience creates a sense of calm and balance, allowing you to approach your efforts with steadiness rather than urgency. For example, if you're pursuing a career advancement, acknowledging each new skill or connection you develop keeps you grounded and focused, even if the promotion feels far off. Celebrating small wins also strengthens relationships, both with yourself and with others. Acknowledging your progress fosters self-compassion, reminding you to treat yourself with kindness and encouragement. This positive relationship with yourself creates a foundation for resilience and growth. Additionally, sharing your small victories with others creates opportunities for connection and support. When you celebrate progress together, you build a network of encouragement that reinforces your efforts. For instance, if you're working toward a fitness goal, celebrating milestones with a workout partner or supportive friend makes the journey more enjoyable and sustainable. Gratitude for small wins also cultivates a mindset of abundance. Instead of focusing on what you lack or what remains undone, You begin to see the richness of what you've already accomplished. This shift in perspective reduces feelings of scarcity and inadequacy, replacing them with a sense of satisfaction and optimism. For example, if you're working to improve your time management, appreciating each productive day or completed task helps you see the progress you're making rather than fixating on what could have been done better. Another profound impact of gratitude is its ability to transform setbacks into learning experiences. Challenges often feel discouraging, but gratitude helps you reframe them as opportunities for growth. When you celebrate small wins, even in the midst of difficulty, you build a habit of focusing on progress rather than obstacles. This mindset makes it easier to navigate setbacks with resilience and creativity. For instance, if you encounter a roadblock in a project, acknowledging what you've achieved so far provides the confidence and perspective needed to find a way forward. Gratitude for small wins also creates a ripple effect, influencing other areas of your life. When you practice recognizing and celebrating progress in one area, it becomes easier to apply this mindset elsewhere. This holistic approach to gratitude fosters a sense of balance and fulfillment that supports your overall well-being. For example, if you're improving your physical health, the habit of celebrating small wins might extend to your personal relationships or professional goals, creating a positive cycle of growth and appreciation. Ultimately, developing gratitude for small wins transforms the journey of discipline and perseverance. It shifts your focus from the distant finish line to the steps you're taking right now, making the process itself a source of joy and motivation. By celebrating progress, no matter how modest, you cultivate a mindset of abundance, resilience, and self-belief. This practice not only fuels your determination, but also deepens your connection to the goals and values that matter most. Through gratitude, you discover that each small win is a building block of long-term success, and that the path to achievement is as meaningful as the destination. Celebrating small wins fuels perseverance, nurturing a mindset of gratitude that propels you forward. But even with the joy of progress, there is a limit to how much effort you can sustain without balance. Discipline, when unaccompanied by rest, can transform into strain, and even the most resilient spirit needs moments of renewal. In the Buddhist approach to self-care, balance is not seen as an interruption to effort, but as an essential part of it. Rest is the counterpart to work, creating harmony that prevents burnout and enhances the quality of your actions. Balance begins with acknowledging the duality of effort and rest. Effort drives progress, but rest restores the energy necessary to maintain that effort. When effort is constant and unrelenting, it depletes your reserves, leaving you unable to sustain discipline over time. Rest, on the other hand, replenishes those reserves, allowing you to return to your work with clarity and vigor. This balance is not about equal time spent in work and rest, but about recognizing what each moment requires. For example, after a period of intense focus on a project, stepping away for a brief walk or quiet reflection allows your mind to reset, making the next round of effort more effective. Incorporating rest into your routine requires a shift in mindset. Many people equate rest with laziness or inactivity, believing that stopping means falling behind. However, rest is not the absence of productivity. It is the foundation of it. By taking intentional breaks, you create space for your mind and body to recover, reducing stress and preventing fatigue. This practice enhances both your performance and your well-being. For instance, pausing to meditate or practice mindful breathing during a busy day doesn't take away from your productivity. It adds to it by calming your mind and increasing focus. Rest also allows you to step back and gain perspective. When you're immersed in effort, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture, becoming overly focused on immediate tasks. Rest provides the opportunity to reflect on your actions and ensure they align with your goals and values. This reflection helps you avoid the trap of working hard in the wrong direction, redirecting your energy toward what truly matters. For example, taking a day off to evaluate your progress on a long-term goal might reveal areas where adjustments are needed, ultimately saving time and effort. The quality of rest matters as much as the act itself. Rest is most effective when it is intentional and mindful, rather than passive or distracted. Engaging in activities that genuinely restore you, such as spending time in nature, practicing yoga, or connecting with loved ones, creates a deeper sense of renewal than simply zoning out in front of a screen. Rest that aligns with your values and brings you joy becomes a source of energy and inspiration, rather than just a pause between periods of work. Balance also involves listening to your body and mind. Your energy levels fluctuate throughout the day and week, influenced by factors like sleep, nutrition, and stress. Paying attention to these fluctuations helps you recognize when rest is needed, rather than waiting until exhaustion forces you to stop. This proactive approach prevents burnout and keeps you operating at your best. For instance, if you notice your concentration waning during a task, taking a short break to stretch or hydrate can restore your focus and prevent diminishing returns. The Buddhist approach to balancing effort and rest also emphasizes non-attachment to productivity. In a culture that often glorifies busyness, it's easy to tie your self-worth to how much you accomplish. This mindset creates pressure to constantly push forward, even at the expense of your health and well-being. Letting go of this attachment allows you to rest without guilt, recognizing that your value is not determined by your output. For example, choosing to take a weekend off to recharge doesn't diminish your dedication. It strengthens it by ensuring you have the energy to continue. Rest also nurtures creativity and problem-solving. When your mind is constantly occupied with effort, it has little room to explore new ideas or perspectives. Rest provides the mental space needed for innovation and insight to emerge. This is why many breakthroughs occur during moments of relaxation or downtime, rather than during periods of intense focus. For instance, stepping away from a challenging problem to engage in a restful activity like gardening or listening to music often leads to fresh solutions when you return. Balancing effort with rest also involves embracing the concept of enough. There will always be more to do, more goals to achieve, and more tasks to complete. If you wait until everything is finished to rest, you will never stop. Recognizing when you've done enough for the day allows you to set boundaries and protect your well-being. This practice teaches you to value the quality of your efforts over the quantity, creating a sustainable rhythm that supports both achievement and self-care. Rest is also a form of self-compassion. It acknowledges that you are human with limits and needs, and that honoring those needs is not a weakness, but a strength. When you allow yourself to rest, you send a powerful message to yourself that you are worthy of care and respect. This self-compassion builds resilience, helping you navigate challenges with greater ease and confidence. For example, taking a break after a particularly demanding week at work is not an indulgence. It's an act of kindness that ensures you can continue to show up fully in the future. Another important aspect of balancing effort and rest is learning to prioritize. Not all tasks are equally important, and trying to do everything often leads to unnecessary stress and exhaustion. Focusing on what truly matters allows you to conserve your energy for the things that align with your goals and values. This prioritization creates space for rest by reducing the clutter in your schedule. For instance, letting go of commitments that don't serve your long-term vision frees up time and energy for both meaningful work and intentional rest. The Buddhist perspective also highlights the cyclical nature of effort and rest. Just as the seasons change and the tides ebb and flow, your energy follows natural rhythms. Respecting these cycles means recognizing when to push forward and when to pull back. This dynamic balance creates harmony, allowing you to work in alignment with your natural capacities rather than against them. For example, planning your most demanding tasks during times when your energy is highest and scheduling rest during lower energy periods optimizes both your productivity and well-being. Rest also deepens your connection to the present moment. When you're caught up in constant effort, it's easy to become future-focused, always thinking about the next task or goal. Rest brings you back to the here and now, helping you appreciate the process rather than just the outcome. This presence enhances your overall sense of fulfillment, making discipline feel less like a means to an end and more like a way of being. For instance, taking a mindful walk outdoors allows you to savor the simple joys of movement and nature, creating a sense of contentment that supports your broader efforts. Ultimately, balancing effort with rest is about creating a sustainable approach to discipline. It recognizes that true growth and achievement come not from relentless striving, but from a harmonious interplay of action and renewal. By integrating rest into your practice, you ensure that your efforts remain steady, purposeful, and effective. This balance not only prevents burnout, but also enriches your life, allowing you to pursue your goals with energy, clarity, and joy. Through this approach, you discover that rest is not a break from discipline. It is an essential part of it, providing the strength and resilience needed to keep moving forward. Rest and renewal are essential companions to effort, ensuring that your journey remains sustainable and fulfilling. Yet, even with balance, discipline can sometimes feel like an isolating path, one you must navigate alone. But this is far from the truth. The presence of a supportive community, or sangha, can transform how you approach discipline, turning challenges into shared experiences and victories into collective celebrations. Community infuses the process with connection and energy, making it not only more enjoyable, but also more enduring. The role of sangha is profound, offering encouragement, accountability, and a sense of belonging that strengthens your commitment to your goals. A community amplifies your motivation. When you pursue a goal on your own, it's easy to lose momentum during moments of doubt or fatigue. Being surrounded by like-minded individuals creates an environment where inspiration is contagious. Seeing others remain disciplined in their efforts motivates you to do the same, not through pressure, but through the shared energy of collective commitment. For instance, joining a meditation group or a fitness class reinforces your routine because the group's collective dedication uplifts and energizes your own practice. Sangha also provides a space for accountability. It's not about judgment or rigid expectations, but about the gentle nudge that comes from knowing others are on the journey with you. When you share your intentions with a community, you create a sense of responsibility, not just to yourself, but to the group. This accountability helps you stay consistent, even when internal motivation wavers. For example, committing to a regular study group ensures that you show up and stay engaged because you've made a commitment to others as well as yourself. Another gift of community is the support it offers during difficult times. Discipline is rarely a straight path. Setbacks and struggles are inevitable. In these moments, the encouragement of others can make all the difference. A community reminds you that you're not alone, that others have faced similar challenges and found ways to overcome them. This shared understanding provides both comfort and perspective, helping you navigate difficulties with resilience. For instance, when you're feeling overwhelmed by a project, hearing how someone else persevered through a similar challenge can reignite your confidence and determination. Sangha also fosters a sense of shared learning. No matter how much experience or knowledge you have, there is always something to gain from the perspectives of others. Within a community, you're exposed to diverse approaches and insights that can enrich your own practice. This exchange of ideas creates an environment of growth where learning becomes a collaborative experience. For example, in a writing group, sharing drafts and receiving feedback not only improves your work, but also deepens your understanding of the craft through the experiences of others. The presence of a supportive community also reduces feelings of isolation. Discipline can sometimes feel like a solitary endeavor, especially when your goals differ from those of the people around you. Sangha provides a space where your efforts are understood and celebrated, creating a sense of belonging that strengthens your resolve. This connection reminds you that while your journey is unique, it is also part of a larger collective experience. For instance, participating in a mindfulness retreat offers the opportunity to connect with others who share your commitment to inner growth, creating bonds that reinforce your practice. Community also brings joy to the process of discipline. Working toward a goal doesn't have to be a somber or overly serious experience. The shared laughter, encouragement, and camaraderie of a group transform effort into something enjoyable. This joy makes the process feel lighter and more sustainable, helping you stay engaged over the long term. For example, a group of runners training for a marathon might share humorous anecdotes or celebrate each other's progress, turning the effort into a source of shared happiness. Sangha also teaches the value of interdependence. While discipline often emphasizes personal effort, community reminds you that no one achieves their goals entirely on their own. The support, insights, and encouragement of others play a crucial role in your success, just as your contributions uplift those around you. This interconnectedness fosters a sense of humility and gratitude, deepening your appreciation for the role others play in your journey. For instance, a mentor's guidance or a friend's encouragement might be the spark that helps you overcome a significant hurdle, reminding you of the power of collective effort. Another powerful aspect of community is the opportunity it provides to give back. Discipline is not just about receiving support, it's also about offering it. When you share your experiences, insights, and encouragement with others, you reinforce your own commitment while contributing to the growth of the group. This reciprocity creates a cycle of mutual benefit, where everyone's efforts are amplified by the collective energy of the Sangha. For example, mentoring someone who is just starting on a path you've been navigating for years not only helps them, but also deepens your own understanding and resolve. Sangha also encourages authenticity. In a supportive community, you can share both your successes and your struggles without fear of judgment. This openness creates an environment of trust and vulnerability, where everyone feels safe to be themselves. Authenticity strengthens the bonds within the group and fosters a deeper sense of connection. For example, in a book club, sharing not only your interpretations of the text, but also the personal challenges it resonates with, builds a richer, more meaningful discussion. The structure that community provides is another significant benefit. Discipline often thrives in environments with clear rhythms and routines, and a group can create this structure in a way that feels organic and supportive. Scheduled meetings, shared milestones, or group check-ins provide a framework that keeps you on track without feeling rigid. For example, a weekly yoga class creates a consistent opportunity to practice, ensuring that it becomes a regular part of your life. Being part of a sangha also strengthens your sense of purpose. Seeing how your efforts contribute to something larger than yourself adds meaning to your actions. This sense of purpose fuels your motivation and makes discipline feel less like an individual challenge and more like a collective journey. For instance, participating in a community garden not only helps you stay disciplined in tending to the plants, but also reminds you that your work contributes to the well-being of others. Sangha also helps you celebrate milestones. While it's important to recognize your small wins personally, sharing them with a group amplifies the joy and reinforces your progress. The acknowledgement and encouragement of others make your achievements feel even more significant, motivating you to keep going. For example, completing a creative project and sharing it with a supportive group can turn a solitary accomplishment into a shared celebration, deepening its impact. Ultimately, the role of Sangha in maintaining discipline goes far beyond support. It transforms the entire experience. Community makes the path more enjoyable, meaningful, and sustainable, turning individual effort into a shared journey of growth and connection. Through the presence of others, you discover strengths you didn't know you had, gain insights that broaden your perspective, and find a sense of belonging that sustains you through the challenges. In this shared space, discipline becomes not just a practice, but a way of being, enriched by the collective energy of the Sangha and the bonds it fosters. Community fosters a sense of connection, purpose, and resilience, weaving a web of support that makes discipline more sustainable and joyful. But even within the most encouraging circles, there are moments when focus wavers and energy dwindles. In these times, the power of mindful breathing offers a simple yet profound way to restore clarity and vitality. Breathwork isn't merely about inhaling and exhaling. It is an intentional practice that grounds the mind, energizes the body, and transforms stress into calm determination. By learning to harness the breath, you unlock a tool that is always within reach, no matter where you are or what challenges arise. Breath is the silent thread that connects the body and mind, yet it is often taken for granted. Without awareness, breathing can become shallow and hurried, reflecting the chaos of daily life. This kind of unconscious breathing perpetuates tension, feeding into cycles of stress and distraction. Mindful breathing, on the other hand, is deliberate and intentional, anchoring you in the present moment. By focusing on the rhythm of your breath, you quiet the noise of your thoughts and create space for calmness and focus to emerge. The connection between breath and focus is rooted in physiology. When you're stressed, the body's fight-or-flight response activates, quickening your breath and heart rate. This state makes it difficult to concentrate, as your mind becomes preoccupied with perceived threats. Mindful breathing counteracts this response by engaging the parasympathetic nervous system, which calms the body and mind. By slowing and deepening your breath, you signal to your brain that it's safe to relax. This shift not only reduces stress, but also sharpens your focus, allowing you to approach tasks with clarity and confidence. Energy is another aspect that breathwork directly influences. Physical and mental fatigue often stem from shallow breathing, which limits oxygen intake and decreases vitality. Mindful breathing increases the flow of oxygen to your cells, revitalizing your body and refreshing your mind. This process is like fueling a fire. The more oxygen you provide, the brighter it burns. Practicing breathwork throughout the day maintains a steady supply of energy, preventing the dips that can derail your discipline. For example, taking a few moments to practice deep diaphragmatic breathing during a midday slump can recharge your focus and motivation. Mindful breathing also enhances emotional regulation. Emotions, especially intense ones like frustration or anxiety, often disrupt focus and derail efforts. The breath acts as a bridge between the body and mind, giving you a way to influence your emotional state. By directing your attention to the breath, you create a pause between stimulus and reaction, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. This practice cultivates emotional stability, helping you stay composed even in challenging situations. For instance, if you're feeling overwhelmed by a deadline, focusing on slow, rhythmic breathing can help you regain a sense of control and approach the task with renewed calmness. Another benefit of mindful breathing is its ability to deepen your awareness of the present moment. The mind often wanders, caught in thoughts about the past or future. This tendency divides your attention, making it harder to focus on what's in front of you. The breath, however, is always present. It cannot exist in the past or future. By anchoring your attention to your breath, you bring your awareness fully into the here and now. This presence sharpens your perception and enhances the quality of your efforts, whether you're working, studying, or simply enjoying a moment of stillness. Consistency is key to reaping the benefits of mindful breathing. Like any practice, its effects grow over time with regular use. Starting with just a few minutes a day can build a strong foundation, gradually integrating breathwork into your routine. Over time, it becomes a natural response to stress or distraction, a tool you instinctively reach for when focus wanes or energy dips. This consistency transforms mindful breathing from a practice into a habit, one that supports your discipline and well-being on a daily basis. Breathwork can also be tailored to different needs. There are techniques for calming the mind, boosting energy, and enhancing focus, each suited to specific situations. For example, slow, deep breaths through the nose can create a sense of relaxation, while quick, rhythmic breaths can invigorate and energize. Learning a variety of techniques allows you to adapt your practice to the demands of the moment. For instance, before a demanding presentation, energizing breaths might help sharpen your focus, while calming breaths can ease pre-performance jitters. The simplicity of breathwork makes it accessible to everyone. Unlike other tools for focus and energy, it requires no equipment, special setting, or significant time investment. You can practice mindful breathing anywhere, whether you're seated at your desk, walking outdoors, or lying in bed. This accessibility ensures that the benefits of breathwork are always within reach, empowering you to take charge of your focus and energy no matter the circumstances. Mindful breathing also cultivates self-awareness. As you focus on your breath, you become more attuned to the sensations in your body and the patterns of your mind. This awareness reveals subtle signs of tension, fatigue, or distraction that might otherwise go unnoticed. Recognizing these signals early allows you to address them before they escalate, maintaining your balance and productivity. For instance, noticing a tightening in your chest during a busy day might prompt you to pause and practice calming breaths, preventing stress from building. The practice of mindful breathing also aligns with the broader principles of mindfulness. It teaches you to approach each moment with curiosity and acceptance, rather than judgment or resistance. This mindset extends beyond breathwork, influencing how you approach challenges, setbacks, and successes. By cultivating a sense of presence through your breath, you develop a deeper appreciation for the process of discipline itself, finding joy and fulfillment in each step of the journey. In the context of discipline, breathwork is both a tool and a teacher. It reminds you that focus and energy are not fixed traits, but dynamic states that can be nurtured and renewed. It teaches you to pause and reset, to approach effort with intention rather than urgency. Through mindful breathing, you discover that even in the midst of busyness, there is always a place of stillness within you, a source of calm and strength that supports you in all that you do. Breath is the foundation of life, and learning to work with it consciously unlocks a profound source of power. It grounds you in the present, steadies your emotions, and replenishes your energy, making discipline a more sustainable and enriching experience. By incorporating mindful breathing into your practice, you equip yourself with a tool that not only enhances your focus, but also nurtures your overall well-being. It is a simple yet transformative practice, one that connects you to the essence of who you are and empowers you to approach each moment with clarity and intention. Breathwork serves as a profound reminder of how small, consistent practices can create deep and lasting change. It teaches the power of returning to simplicity to regain balance and energy. Yet, the strength of focus and discipline does not rest on singular practices alone, but on the foundation of daily rituals that give structure to your intentions. These rituals are not just routines. They are deliberate anchors that create stability in your life, allowing you to build consistency without exhaustion. Through them, discipline transforms from a draining effort into an intentional flow that guides your days with purpose. Rituals begin with meaning. When actions are connected to something deeper than habit, they become sources of strength rather than obligations. Establishing meaningful rituals starts by identifying the values and goals that matter most to you. When rituals align with these values, they become purposeful acts that feel natural and enriching rather than forced. For example, if cultivating mindfulness is important, starting your day with a short meditation creates a ritual that embodies this value. The practice itself becomes a reminder of your intention, grounding your focus as you move through the day. Consistency is often seen as a challenge, but rituals simplify the process by removing the need for constant decision-making. When a ritual is established, it becomes an automatic part of your day, reducing the mental effort required to maintain discipline. This predictability allows you to focus your energy on the act itself, rather than the decision to do it. For instance, setting a specific time each morning to journal eliminates the internal debate about when or whether to do it, freeing your mind to engage fully in the practice. Rituals also create rhythm in your life, offering a sense of order amidst the unpredictability of daily demands. This rhythm acts as a stabilizing force, helping you navigate challenges with greater ease. By anchoring yourself in familiar practices, you create a steady foundation that supports you even in times of stress or uncertainty. For example, beginning and ending your day with a gratitude ritual provides a sense of continuity, reminding you of what grounds you regardless of external circumstances. Another powerful aspect of rituals is their ability to conserve energy. Discipline often falters when it feels like an uphill battle, but rituals streamline effort by creating a flow. When you know what comes next in your routine, you eliminate unnecessary decision fatigue, allowing you to move seamlessly from one task to another. This efficiency reduces the likelihood of feeling drained and helps you sustain your efforts over time. For example, preparing your workspace the night before a productive session ensures that you can begin your workday with focus and energy, rather than distraction. Rituals also have the ability to transform mundane tasks into meaningful moments. When approached with intention, even simple actions like brewing tea, stretching, or tidying your space become opportunities to reconnect with your goals. These small rituals act as pauses that center your attention and create a sense of presence. For instance, taking a few deep breaths before opening your laptop turns the act of starting your workday into a mindful entry point, grounding you in clarity and purpose. The adaptability of rituals is another reason they are so effective. While discipline often feels rigid, rituals allow for flexibility within structure. They can be adjusted to suit your needs or circumstances without losing their core purpose. This adaptability ensures that rituals remain sustainable, evolving with you rather than becoming static or burdensome. For example, if a daily walk is part of your routine, but the weather doesn't permit it, substituting it with indoor movement ensures the intention of physical activity remains intact. Rituals also foster a sense of self-trust. Each time you complete a ritual, you reinforce your ability to follow through on commitments, no matter how small. This consistent follow-through builds confidence in your discipline, creating a positive cycle of belief in your capacity to achieve larger goals. For instance, keeping a nightly practice of reflecting on your day strengthens your trust in your ability to maintain other habits, even during challenging times. The cumulative effect of rituals is another aspect that makes them so impactful. While individual actions may seem small, their repeated practice creates significant results over time. This accumulation not only builds discipline but also creates a deeper sense of fulfillment, as each ritual contributes to your growth in meaningful ways. For example, dedicating just a few minutes each day to creative expression can lead to noticeable improvement in skills and a stronger connection to your passions over the course of months or years. Rituals also connect you to a sense of identity. The practices you choose reflect the person you are becoming, shaping how you see yourself and reinforcing your intentions. By aligning your rituals with your aspirations, you cultivate a sense of alignment between your actions and your goals. For instance, maintaining a ritual of reading or studying aligns with the identity of someone committed to lifelong learning, reinforcing both the habit and the mindset. Another benefit of rituals is the sense of grounding they provide during transitions. Life is full of changes and uncertainties, but rituals create anchors that help you navigate these shifts with stability. By returning to familiar practices, you maintain a sense of continuity and control, even as external circumstances evolve. For example, continuing a morning mindfulness practice during a busy or stressful period ensures that you begin each day with a moment of calm, no matter what challenges lie ahead. Rituals also strengthen your connection to the present moment. Discipline often focuses on future outcomes, but rituals bring your attention to the here and now. This presence enhances the quality of your efforts, making each action feel purposeful and rewarding. For example, engaging fully in a stretching routine before exercise turns preparation into a mindful practice, deepening your connection to your body and your goals. Incorporating rituals into your life also creates a ripple effect, influencing other areas of your discipline. The structure, intention, and consistency developed through one ritual often spill over into other practices, strengthening your overall approach to discipline. For instance, maintaining a bedtime ritual of disconnecting from screens and reflecting on the day can improve both your sleep quality and your focus during waking hours, enhancing your ability to maintain other habits. Ultimately, rituals are not about adding more to your day, but about infusing meaning and intention into what you already do. They turn ordinary moments into opportunities for growth, connection, and renewal. By establishing rituals that align with your values and goals, you create a foundation of consistency that supports your discipline without draining your energy. These practices become more than routines. They become acts of care and commitment, guiding you toward a life of purpose and balance. Through rituals, you discover that discipline is not about rigid effort, but about creating a flow that sustains and enriches every aspect of your journey. Rituals provide a steady rhythm, grounding your efforts and aligning your daily actions with your intentions. Yet, discipline is not merely about structured routines or external achievements. It is deeply tied to the qualities you nurture within yourself. Joy, compassion, loving kindness, and equanimity, the four immeasurables, offer a transformative foundation for self-discipline. These principles are not just emotional states, but practices that bring harmony to your efforts, helping you cultivate balance, resilience, and meaning in everything you pursue. Joy within discipline is not rooted in fleeting pleasure, but in a deep sense of fulfillment that arises from alignment with your values and goals. This joy is cultivated when you learn to appreciate the process, rather than becoming solely fixated on outcomes. It is the quiet satisfaction of knowing that each effort, no matter how small, contributes to a larger purpose. When you approach discipline with joy, it becomes less of a burden and more of a celebration of your potential. For example, finding delight in the growth that comes from mastering a challenging skill transforms the act of discipline into a source of inspiration. Compassion plays a vital role in maintaining discipline, particularly when faced with setbacks or failures. Without compassion, it is easy to fall into patterns of self-criticism and frustration, which drain energy and motivation. Compassion invites you to treat yourself with kindness and understanding, recognizing that mistakes are part of the journey. This approach fosters resilience, allowing you to learn and grow from challenges rather than being discouraged by them. For instance, if you fall short of a goal, viewing the experience through the lens of self-compassion helps you focus on the lessons gained rather than the perceived failure. Loving kindness extends compassion beyond the self, creating a sense of connection with others that strengthens your discipline. When your efforts are motivated by a desire to contribute positively to the world, they take on a greater significance. Loving kindness transforms discipline from a self-centered pursuit into a shared journey, where your growth benefits not only you, but also those around you. This perspective nurtures a sense of purpose and accountability, as you recognize how your actions ripple outward. For example, committing to personal development with the intention of being a better partner, parent, or colleague fosters motivation rooted in care and generosity. Equanimity is perhaps the most stabilizing of the four immeasurables, offering a sense of balance and calm that supports consistent effort. Discipline often involves navigating highs and lows, from the excitement of progress to the frustration of setbacks. Equanimity teaches you to remain steady amidst these fluctuations, approaching each moment with an open and composed mindset. This balance prevents burnout by allowing you to maintain perspective even during intense periods of effort. For example, equanimity helps you approach a demanding project with focus and patience, trusting that steady progress will lead to results. The four immeasurables also work together to create a holistic foundation for discipline. Joy keeps you energized and engaged. Compassion prevents harsh self-judgment. Loving kindness fosters connection and purpose. And equanimity ensures balance and steadiness. Together, they form a framework that supports sustainable and meaningful discipline, transforming effort into a deeply fulfilling practice. One of the ways these qualities enhance discipline is by reshaping your relationship with challenges. Instead of viewing obstacles as barriers, you begin to see them as opportunities for growth and connection. Joy helps you find lightness in the process. Compassion encourages you to persevere without self-blame. Loving kindness reminds you of the broader impact of your efforts, and equanimity keeps you grounded. For instance, tackling a new skill might feel daunting, but approaching it with these qualities turns the experience into a journey of discovery rather than a test of endurance. These practices also cultivate a sense of gratitude, which further enriches your discipline. When you approach each step with joy and compassion, you naturally develop an appreciation for the progress you've made and the lessons you've learned. Gratitude reinforces your commitment by reminding you of the value of your efforts, making it easier to stay motivated even when challenges arise. For example, reflecting on how far you've come in a long-term goal fosters a sense of pride and encouragement that propels you forward. The four immeasurables also create a ripple effect, influencing other aspects of your life. When you cultivate these qualities within yourself, they naturally extend to your interactions with others, strengthening your relationships and creating a supportive environment for growth. This interconnectedness reinforces your discipline, as the encouragement and understanding of those around you become sources of strength. For example, practicing loving kindness in your personal relationships builds trust and mutual support, which in turn helps you stay committed to your goals. Another way these qualities enhance discipline is by fostering self-awareness. Joy, compassion, loving kindness, and equanimity all require you to tune in to your thoughts, emotions, and intentions, deepening your understanding of yourself. This awareness helps you identify when adjustments are needed, whether it's taking a step back to rest, seeking support, or re-evaluating your approach. For instance, noticing when frustration is overtaking joy allows you to pause and realign your efforts, preventing burnout and preserving your motivation. The four immeasurables also encourage a mindset of abundance. When you approach discipline with these qualities, you move away from a scarcity mindset that focuses on what you lack and toward a perspective that values what you have. This shift reduces stress and fosters contentment, allowing you to approach your goals with a sense of ease and confidence. For example, viewing your progress through the lens of joy and gratitude highlights the growth you've achieved rather than fixating on what remains undone. By integrating the four immeasurables into your practice, you create a discipline that is not only effective, but also deeply enriching. These qualities transform effort from a rigid pursuit into a fluid and harmonious process, one that supports both your personal growth and your connection to the world around you. Through joy, compassion, loving kindness, and equanimity, you discover that discipline is not just about achieving goals. It's about cultivating a way of being that brings balance, fulfillment, and meaning to every aspect of your life. The four immeasurables teach us to infuse discipline with joy, compassion, and equanimity, transforming effort into an experience of balance and connection. Yet, discipline is more than an individual pursuit. It becomes most meaningful when it aligns with universal truths, the principles that guide life itself. This alignment brings harmony between your actions and the greater rhythms of existence. When discipline is grounded in the Dharma, it ceases to be a struggle and instead becomes a natural flow, an expression of living in harmony with the truths that govern growth, impermanence, and interconnectedness. The Dharma, or the universal truths, is not a set of rigid rules, but a framework that reflects the natural order of life. It encompasses principles like impermanence, cause and effect, and the interconnectedness of all beings. Aligning your efforts with these truths means understanding and embracing the reality of change, the consequences of actions, and the collective nature of existence. Discipline rooted in these truths becomes a practice of living authentically and harmoniously, rather than a pursuit of rigid perfection or control. Impermanence, one of the central truths of the Dharma, provides a profound foundation for self-discipline. Life is in constant motion. No moment, achievement, or struggle lasts forever. Embracing impermanence allows you to release attachment to specific outcomes, focusing instead on the process and the effort itself. This perspective brings a sense of freedom and flexibility to discipline, reducing the pressure to achieve fixed goals and fostering resilience in the face of change. For example, when working toward a long-term goal, recognizing that setbacks are temporary prevents discouragement and keeps you motivated to continue. The principle of cause and effect, or karma, also plays a key role in aligning discipline with the Dharma. Every action you take carries consequences, shaping your present and future experiences. Understanding this truth empowers you to act intentionally, knowing that your efforts contribute to the outcomes you desire. This awareness adds depth to discipline, transforming it from mere habit into a purposeful practice. For instance, consistently practicing mindfulness not only enhances your immediate focus, but also cultivates long-term mental clarity and emotional stability. Interconnectedness is another universal truth that deepens the practice of discipline. Your actions do not exist in isolation. They ripple outward, influencing the world around you. This interconnectedness reminds you that discipline is not just about personal achievement, but also about contributing to the greater good. When your efforts are guided by this understanding, they become acts of service and connection, enriching both your life and the lives of others. For example, dedicating time to community work or environmental stewardship aligns your discipline with the collective well-being, adding meaning and fulfillment to your efforts. Aligning discipline with the Dharma also means approaching it with humility and openness. The truths of the Dharma are not about imposing control, but about working in harmony with life's natural rhythms. This approach encourages you to remain flexible and adaptable, adjusting your efforts to align with the flow of circumstances. Rigidity in discipline often leads to frustration, but when you embrace the fluidity of the Dharma, you find balance and ease. For example, if an unexpected challenge disrupts your plans, responding with acceptance and adaptability allows you to continue moving forward without unnecessary struggle. The Dharma also teaches the value of intention. Actions rooted in clear and meaningful intentions resonate with the universal truths, creating a sense of alignment and purpose. Discipline becomes more sustainable when it is guided by intentions that reflect your values and aspirations. This alignment ensures that your efforts are not just productive, but also meaningful, fostering a deep connection to your goals. For instance, committing to daily meditation with the intention of cultivating inner peace aligns your practice with the broader truth of interconnected well-being. Patience is another essential aspect of aligning discipline with the Dharma. The truths of life unfold over time, often requiring sustained effort and trust in the process. Patience allows you to approach discipline with steadiness, accepting that meaningful progress is rarely immediate. This perspective reduces frustration and keeps you focused on the journey rather than fixating on the destination. For example, learning a new skill requires patience and perseverance, but aligning your efforts with the understanding that growth is gradual makes the process more enjoyable and rewarding. Gratitude also emerges naturally when discipline is rooted in the Dharma. Recognizing the interconnectedness of all things fosters appreciation for the support and opportunities that make your efforts possible. Gratitude deepens your connection to the present moment and reinforces your commitment to your goals. For instance, expressing gratitude for the resources, guidance, and encouragement you receive along the way strengthens your discipline by reminding you of the collective effort that contributes to your success. The principle of balance is woven throughout the Dharma, and it is essential for sustainable discipline. Effort and rest, action and reflection, progress and pause, all are necessary for harmony. Aligning your discipline with this balance prevents burnout and ensures that your efforts remain sustainable over the long term. This balance also fosters a sense of fulfillment as you learn to value both the work and the renewal that support your growth. For example, incorporating regular periods of rest and self-care into your routine allows you to maintain focus and energy without overextending yourself. Compassion, both for yourself and others, is a cornerstone of the Dharma and an integral part of discipline. Aligning your efforts with this truth means approaching your goals with kindness and understanding, recognizing that perfection is neither possible nor necessary. Compassion encourages you to treat mistakes and setbacks as opportunities for growth rather than sources of self-criticism. This mindset creates a supportive and nurturing environment for discipline, fostering resilience and perseverance. For instance, forgiving yourself for missing a step in your routine allows you to move forward without dwelling on the past. Aligning discipline with the Dharma also requires mindfulness. The truths of the Dharma are best understood and applied when you are fully present in each moment. Mindfulness brings clarity to your efforts, helping you discern whether your actions align with your values and intentions. This awareness ensures that your discipline remains authentic and purposeful, rather than driven by external pressures or distractions. For example, pausing to reflect on the impact of your actions during a challenging decision reinforces your commitment to living in harmony with your principles. Ultimately, the Dharma of self-discipline is about cultivating a way of being that aligns your efforts with the natural rhythms and truths of life. It transforms discipline from a rigid pursuit into a practice of harmony, balance, and connection. By embracing impermanence, intention, interconnectedness, and compassion, you create a foundation for discipline that is both sustainable and deeply meaningful. Through this alignment, your efforts become an expression of living in harmony with the universal truths, enriching your life and contributing to the greater good in profound and lasting ways. Self-discipline isn't about gritting your teeth through endless struggles or pushing yourself to the brink of exhaustion. It's about aligning your efforts with balance, purpose, and compassion. By understanding the Buddhist principles of the middle way, cultivating mindfulness, letting go of perfectionism, and embracing the wisdom of rest, you learn that discipline can be a sustainable, fulfilling practice rather than a draining one. It becomes a tool for growth and connection, a way to live harmoniously with life's rhythms while pursuing your deepest values. Through intention, gratitude, and the support of community, discipline transforms from a solitary challenge into a shared journey of meaning and joy. The breath guides your focus, rituals anchor your days, and the universal truths of the Dharma remind you that your efforts are part of something greater. When approached this way, discipline isn't a chore. It's a gift to yourself and the world around you. Now, it's your turn. What resonated with you the most in this journey toward balanced self-discipline? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insight could inspire someone else on their path. If this video brought value to your day, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss the next step in this journey. Let's grow together, one mindful practice at a time.